Yo, man, I know what you're thinking, right? But I ain't one of them vanilla ice fools, man. I know what's the deal, I know what's up. That's
I don't want Timmy to come over. I don't like him.
Why?
'Cause he's weird.
Am I weird? Am I weird? Am I everything you fear? Am I the voice in the void, in the space between your ears? Am I leading you to hell? While you're wishing well? Am I vaulting you to heaven with a hypnagogic spell? Can you smell it on my breath? Is it the whispering of death, or the slumbering aroma of the cousin of a coma? Lie up on the sofa, relax and let your lids rest. Look into the nothing to see traces of the infinite. I am the bird boy with busted wing, singing on the sidewalk, hiding from the night hawk. I am the blood pudding, you are the golden spoon. We are conjoined corollaries in a throbbing womb. Kinda weird. Am I weird? Am I wild? Am I free? Am I you? Are you me? Must you shut your eyes to see? Is the treetop cradle faded to the weather? Is to fortify foundations a trivial endeavor? Hush, my darling, don't fuss, my angel. What's an anaconda? What is it to be strangled? Death is only practice, resistance is madness. Every latter step is an exercise in sadness. Lay up on the mattress, aren't you feeling listless? Give your lungs a rest, exhale that breath. It stirs the dust particles, sparkling in the blackness, landing in the eyes of the baby in the basket. Merrily, merrily drifting downstream, awaiting tragedy or charity. It all is but a dream.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly again, learn to live so free. When we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Take these broken wings. Baby, think tonight we can take what was wrong and make it right. Baby, it's all I know, that you're half of the flesh and blood that makes me whole. Would you talk? So take these broken wings and learn to fly again, learn to live so free. When we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Take these broken wings, you got to learn to fly, learn to live so free. And when we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in, yeah. Let us in. Let us in.
Lift your hands, worship Him, exalt Him. Again, you are Lord God Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog, you are the who God.
Alleluia, alleluia, for the Lord dog Hoogan reigns. Alleluia, alleluia, for the Lord dog Hoogan reigns. Hoogan, 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 you are Lord dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog, you are the Hoogan. You are Lord dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. You are Lord dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog Almighty. Who God, you are Lord dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog, you are the Hoogan. All the feral children sing. Glory, glory, he reigns. All the feral children sing. Glory, glory, he reigns. Hoogan, you are Lord God Almighty. Worthy is the dog, you are the Hoogan.
Hey, where are you from, ma'am? Where are you from?
Io sono from Italia. Viva Italia, per favore, via la lure, mezzo male, mamma mia, da maledare. Ciacinca, buah. Figlia mia, da fantasia, mamma mia, se faccio tu.
I
How
can't
you doing
understand her. I think
today?
she might be French.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and RO7 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma.
Or as we like to call it, the Little E's.
Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Amen. Amen, everyone. I'm about to show you something. Okay. It is my Christmas gift to myself. I don't know if you guys do this, but I'll get gifts for everyone, but I always get myself a gift on Christmas. I started this tradition in college because there was one year that I went with a boyfriend to his parents' house for Christmas, and he didn't tell anyone that I was going to be there. So I didn't have a gift, and me and him had opened ours at our house. And so, well, I should say our apartment. We were poor. And so I decided, like, from now on, I'm just going to buy myself a gift. That way, if I have to go anywhere and there aren't presents for me, I don't want other people to feel embarrassed that they didn't know, you know? And then I can pull one out and be like, whoop, look what I got. So, this was not the gay boyfriend, Gaze. This was, well, this was my college boyfriend who I flipped that house. You know what I mean? How you like fix a guy up and you make him presentable and you teach him how to act and then he leaves you for someone else like that. But every year since then, I'm like, I'm just buying myself a gift also. And I feel like everyone should do this because I feel like you should also get something you truly want. And sometimes people get you things you didn't know you wanted, but just in case you don't get something that you want, you don't like feel weird about it. Like another thing is I don't really ever, like if someone's like, what do you want for Christmas? I have to really think about it, you know? And I always try to go like low budget, something small. I don't want people spending a lot of money on me. And I don't know why that is. I'm just like, I'm like that. And I feel like if it's going to be something like big or inconvenient or hard to find, I should just get it myself. So this year, what I chose is duck mittens, or bird mittens, if you will. Now, why did I choose bird mittens? For the obvious, to torment my dog. Let's see if I can get him in here. There you go. These exist merely for perhaps giving a conduit or an outlet to outrageous or taboo thought. Because I feel like if you're hearing bad news, it's better to hear it from the mouth of a bird. So I got these so that I can deliver bad news in a good way, but also to torment my dog and my nieces and nephews. And also because, come on, bird, there we go. Like I've been mugged before. I've told you guys about that. And I feel like if I go, no, stop, and it's little birds, maybe they'll stop beating on me this time. You know what I mean? So I got bird mittens. What do you think? And there are two of them. Let me go ahead and if there's like perhaps a debate that I need to narrate, you know, like perhaps we need to mediate because there's a fight. In that case, I would take off the virtual background so you could see these better. And then we would have the argument happen through the birds. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. Well, in your head, it seemed better. Yeah, but that's your head. And you smoked a lot of pot in college. You still smoke pot. Stop outing yourself. Dry snitch. I'm not a dry snitch. You're a dry snitch. No, you're a dry snitch. Make it out. Anyway, this is what I do when I'm alone. Okay? To go with my duck head. Exactly, darling. It's fun. It's fun. I'm going to learn ventriloquism without the creepy puppets. That's also another goal. So duck mittens are in. You can get them for $10 on Amazon. I found some for $7. Okay. So they will be featured in a YouTube short. There will be lots of them with these mittens because I love them so much. I have to say they are so soft on the inside. Look at the inside. They're that soft sock fake wool material, and I love it. These are going to be the warmest things ever when it gets 50 degrees outside. Dick buttons, also a good idea. Actually, you know what? What are we talking about? Those already exist. Remember Mia? Remember when she was baby fish mouth and she came on the channel and told us about how her ex's penis had a button on it because he had a fake one? Or he had to have one like installed. Something happened to his dick. He had to have a new one installed. And she explained to us that they're kind of like BK Nights. You know what I mean? Like you can pump them up like the sneaker. So that's fun. So that was fun to know. You've never laughed so hard in your life, though. When we found out about the dick buttons, that was very funny. I believe your auntie was in the middle of like a Walmart or something shopping when that happened. And everyone could hear on speakerphone. And then we watched that doctor who looked like he was very wise. And then he pulled out a wooden, it looked like a nutcracker. But as he pushed it down, the dink grew bigger and he explained the science behind robo-penises. You guys remember that? Yep, that happened on this channel. Okay, we're full of fun and surprises here. And I'm hoping the nodes don't kick in too hard. Okay. But today's going to be a day. We have a lot of stuff to look at. All right. And we didn't get as far as I wanted us to last time because we couldn't make it through the first topic, which was the Talibros. Did you guys enjoy that? Learning about the indoctrination of the American youth through Taliban hype beast videos? Holy shit. You liked Slow Down Julie Nagel? We'll have to do more of that. We will have to do more of that. And the pun was definitely intended. Also, mahjong to you, Tiffany. Mahjong to you, Tiffany. Yeah, I do got to get Auntie to come for a cigarette, but Auntie keeps falling asleep. Every time Auntie's supposed to come over with a cigarette. What is this? Oh. Just got a fun text. One of my friends who lives out in the country, about 30 minutes away, she's never in town anymore. She used to be right down the road from me. She's one of my best friends, Liz Gilbert. You'll meet her one day. She doesn't care about her full name being out there because she's from East Texas, so no one can find her. She's weird. She doesn't use the internet that much. She's going to come into town and visit. I'd love to have her on. She's a couple of crazy true crime stories. Liz is amazing. I am getting a little stiffly because we're about to have a cold front, which is perfect timing for the duck gloves. I have been trying to nurse my voice so I don't lose it. But again, have to work. And when I work, I have to talk a lot. So it's a slow build. But eventually, it's going to be fine. How are you guys doing? Is everything okay? Last night after the live, I had to finish up some work stuff. And then as I was sending my emails, I decided to go listen to whatever creators were on. And JFK was on live. And I went and watched him. Also, my psoriasis is like, I'm sorry if I itch my head a lot. I'm sorry. I know it's gross, but I have really bad psoriasis. And my head has been super itchy every time it gets cold. If any of you guys have psoriasis, please tell me. Like, what shampoo are you using? Because I feel like coal tar and all that shit doesn't work anymore. Just super itchy head. Anyway. I was watching JFK and god damn, I was having so much nostalgia. He was playing like old school jams, like DJing, which is fun. I love a good DJ. And he was playing some old school, like, was it En Vogue? It was like really awesome. It reminded me of middle school and high school again. If it itches, scratch it. That's a really good point. I'll do that. But yeah, he was playing some really freaking good jams. And I was kind of in burn mode, like I was in roast mode. And it was giving me an outlet to roast people that annoy the shit out of me. And I appreciate that. And I got to thinking, we've had a bunch of people on this channel. We haven't had JFK or Baby James or Kevy Kev. It would be cool to have them. We've had Uncle Mike. We've had Aunt Deborah. We've had Kim. We've had, we've had a lot of people. But it was like a long time ago. So it would be really cool to try to get, I would love to get JFK on to talk. First of all, Baby James, I'd like to bring him on and do like a game show, like a banner game show, something to do with stealing banners. That would be really fun. Like get the banner or something. We'll make up a game. Baby James, I'm more concerned with playing games with and then figuring out his real age. Because he could be my son. I don't care if he's older than me. I feel like I might have left him somewhere when he was a child and I was meant to pick him up because we both steal banners. I steal signs, he steals banners, but either way, it would be cool to have like banners versus signs, something like that, kind of like shirts versus skins or Bloods versus Crips, but more like banners versus signs. I feel like we should do that. JFK, I would love to have on because I would love to talk to him about all of the record labels and the people that he's worked with over time and about music. And I know it's not comedy related, but I am a musician and a comedian first and foremost. So it would be very interesting to get to kind of pick his brains about everything from Shade 45 to working with Mac Miller to just his history in the industry. I think that would be cool. And also to talk to all of them about wrestling would be so fun. He kept putting up the Enzo picture. Enzo, God, I would love to have Enzo on. That is a wild wrestling true crime story. I'm going to tell you the story of Enzo Amore real quick. If you guys don't know, because I feel like not enough people get how big that is. Like when he puts up the picture of him and Baby James and Enzo Amore, aka the real one, I don't know that people understand the history behind that. So Enzo Amore was a wrestler who, up until recently, like in the last, like probably like 5 or 6 years ago, he got fired. But he was the biggest mouthpiece wrestler. And what does that mean? Like, if you ever watched wrestling back in the day, Road Dogg was a great example. Rowdy Roddy Piper, great example. Why? Because they were great at talking, at promos, at speeches. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. Everybody remembers the shit they say. For example, Ric Flair, limousine riding, limousine riding, wine drinking, wrestling thinking. Like it's always like a rhyme. You know what I mean? Wheeling, dealing, woo! Like, and then the whole crowd like yells it along with him. Okay. High profiling, all that stuff. And then you have, Piper's Pit, which it wasn't really chantable, but he would just go off and you're like, oh, Dusty Rhodes, I'm the son of a plumber, baby. Woo! Like that type of stuff. Now, Road Dogg, he was really big because Road Dogg had the same shit he said every time. And when he'd come out to the ring, he would give this. It was like an intro into him and DX. And even when it was just him and Billy Gunn, he would come out and he would start his little speech and everybody would chant along like they knew the words. And Enzo Amore had that. And we hadn't had that in like 2 decades in wrestling. Someone who could come out and they would give you a speech and you knew every single word and the audience would scream it along. And his was, my name is Enzo Amore and this is Big Cass. And he's 6'8" and you can't teach that. And everybody would chant it. They'd go, woo! And then he'd be like, if you don't like me, then you are SAWFT, soft. And people would just chant and everybody would like freak out. It was so fun. He was one of the best. And their characters were Guidos. Like they were Jersey Shore people mixed with Guidos. They came out. They had Carmella with them. They would all wear leopard. They were pure. Like the theme song was like is it a mandolin? It was so Italian. It was like dinga 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 dinga. I can't even do it, but it was like strumming a mandolin, and then it sounds like it's about to be, I don't know, like a ravioli commercial, and then it's a rap, and it's him. It's Enzo rapping, and it turns out he rapped under the real one, and he's a tiny guy, so he was the loudmouth, and he had the 7-foot tall guy named Big Cass with him, and they were just the best tag team. Everyone loved them. Well, then one day, this information comes out that apparently there is a police report that was filed against Enzo Amore by a young lady in the South. I want to say it was like Arizona or New Mexico. And she's an adult, but she's like late teens, early 20s. And she claimed that he raped her. And when it came out that she had reported this as a rape, apparently Enzo didn't know. His lawyers were informed when everybody else was. And because he didn't do it, this is all according to him, he said, I didn't do this and I thought that was crazy. And no, he kind of just let his lawyers handle it. And he kept going on tour with the WWE. Well, Vince McMahon and the WWE found out that he had these charges against him, I guess, through the media, and they brought him in and they fired him on the spot. They didn't wait to find out if he actually did it. There was no hearing about it. And they claimed that it was because he omitted it or he lied to them about it. When really he just found out himself, didn't know what to do. And he said that he hadn't done it. So, end of story. He didn't feel the need to say anything. He thought it would be dropped because it was ridiculous. And, considering the amount of charges and accusations against Vince McMahon, it was kind of surprising because Enzo was at the peak of his career. They had just gotten on Monday Night Raw. They had a big name. They sold the most merch. Everybody fucking loved them. And he was just like, nope, immediate fire. And the world cheered. They said, good on the WWE for finally, believing all victims and stuff, right? Well, fast forward barely a couple of weeks. And it turns out this girl not only was lying, she admitted she lied. And her father checked her into like a mental institution right after, because apparently this is what she does. She not only would make up accusations against people, on camera, she openly bragged about lying about having abortions and lying about other people doing things to her. And there were videos of her snorting drugs and doing all kinds of drugs. And it turns out she was like a trust fund baby who just went wild. And her thing was to try to get famous by accusing celebrities of stuff. And she had a couple of mental issues. Like, I believe she was like, she had like borderline, but she wasn't taking care of it or something. This is all, everything I'm saying here is alleged, just for the record, because this is stuff that came out by friends, family, people who knew her. And the girl was really active on Twitter. And her friend posted a bunch of screenshots from that night, because Enzo did hang out with her. And he did actually apparently stay the night with her and sleep with her. But what happened was her friend invited her to hang out, and she just kept relentlessly hitting on him, offered to do stuff with him, and then texted her friends, oh my God, I hooked up with a WWE legend. Oh my God, I hooked up with a wrestler. And then even made jokes about, I'm going to say he. And that's when shit started to come into question. And it turns out Enzo was framed. And he lost his job at the peak of his career because of this. And he lost his friends. He lost everything. Because a consensual night when he was single with an adult turned into that same person making these accusations, bragging about lying, texting her friends repeatedly that this was her doing, that she wanted to do this with him, kind of like, hi, bagged him type of behavior. And what's even more interesting is when you look into this girl, which I'm pretty sure she went offline for a long time, she was one of the people that was hanging out with Little Peep and had the same drug dealers and helped provide drugs for people in that circle, allegedly. And also was very close to the drug dealers and communicated with them, was friends with them online. And the legend has it, these are the same dealers that provided stuff for Mac Miller, that he ended up dying from. So she runs in those circles. I believe also friends of hers, they were all connected to the woman who provided drugs illegally for Matthew Perry, the queen of, what was her name? The queen of fentanyl or whatever. So it's just interesting how this girl seems to be hanging out with a lot of influencers in an influencer culture that was pretty much dominated by drug use. And a lot of what she talked about and what was shown later to be fact seemed to all be attempts at her to get famous or get her name out there. Almost like it's better to be famous for something bad than nothing at all and no one knows your name, that kind of shit. I hope she got the help that she needed. But that's essentially the person. Everything I gathered, and I was super into this because I was like, how could this, I loved Enzo. How could this happen? And I followed the girl for a while, and she would switch up her accounts, and she would constantly post, like, even after that, make jokes about what she'd done. And then she'd go offline for a while and come back, and then go off and come back. It was just interesting as you go through her friends and everybody she communicates with, they all happen to be the people who are doing drugs with and providing drugs for various people who seem to have connections to everything from people ODing to careers plummeting to a lot of negative shit. So Enzo got fucked over hard, like really bad. And his reaction was not really the best. I thought it was sick. He snuck into WWE in a disguise and then stood up and like was like an erratic fan in front of hard cam. So everybody saw it. And they were like, that's Enzo Amore. And he had to be escorted out. And in his eyes, I think maybe he was thinking this could be a good angle, you know, for them to let me back in the company since they know now that I didn't do anything wrong. The case was dropped. But instead they got really pissed off and like banned him. And he's shown up in the indie scene here and there. And he's done interviews and he still raps and makes music. But it's just an overall really sad story. And I always wondered, like, at least the past year, because I haven't heard anything out of him, at least not online, you know, what happened. I mean, last time I saw Enzo, it was like South by Southwest last year. And I was picking up Dylan from work. And Dylan had actually heckled him at like this wrestling / hip hop event. And I was just curious, like, how's he doing? And it was wild as fuck to see JFK and Baby James in a picture with him. They just saw him and hung out with him. So it's kind of a big deal. That would, to me, it's like, that'd be like hanging out with China or Road Dogg or someone right at the peak of DX. Had he still stayed in, you know, he would be that big right now. So it was just very bizarre. I was like, whoa, Enzo. And I don't know that anyone in chat understood who that was. And I'm like, that's the real one, dude. That's like a huge deal. Like, that's crazy. The only time I was more like starstruck or like, oh my God, from one of their streams was when they had Matt Hardy. And they were threatening Brian Higgins through my favorite wrestler who I have a tattoo of. I would just love to talk to them about wrestling. I think it would be so much fun. Anyway, I'm getting away from myself. Let's continue with the show. I'm going to show you guys. Of course, I had to save a couple of cool videos that I found on other platforms to show you in case you haven't seen them. I know a lot of you guys don't. Some of you don't fuck around with Twitter. Some of you don't fuck around or with TikTok or Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram. So if I find something funny, I'm going to show it to you. On the subject of the Epstein files, this has been going viral all over the internet. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's so brutally funny, but also sad. Because it's like, God damn it, this is accurate. It's one of those things where it would be funnier if it weren't so sad and true. Check this cartoon out.
Does the White House have a response to these new Epstein emails that show that Trump...
yeah, he did it.
Who? Trump did it.
Did what?
He did everything you guys are thinking he did. He and Epstein?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not denying it?
Nah, fuck it.
And also we killed Epstein to keep him quiet about this whole thing.
Which was obviously a waste of time, but, you know.
Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2020. Wow, I didn't think you'd come out and
Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're so excited to announce that Trump is going to pardon 5 turkeys this year instead of just one.
But we were just...
Just as a kind of joke, because he's been doing so much pardoning of, like, criminals.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Turkeys are funny.
Just move on from
Funniest
this
this Epstein thing.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen with that, trust
But this is above and beyond.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
But the Democrats, they might...
No, they won't.
Look, our people are still going to support us no matter what happens. And the Democrats, look at me, and the Democrats are still just going to do infighting about how the progressives aren't trying to understand where the right is coming from enough. And everything's going to go back to normal. So just don't worry about it, you know? Let's just talk turkey. It's better that way. Let's all just talk turkey. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's talk turkey. Also, Trump might have gone down on Bill Clinton. Turkey.
Okay.
Does the White House have a...
So, a couple of things. First of all, holy shit. It's so funny. And I love it. Second of all, let's talk turkey. Okay, turkey. Best ending. I love bad endings, but I love good endings more. Not gonna lie. This is a great ending. Turkey. Also, Bubba was not just the nickname for Bill Clinton. It was also the name of Ghislaine's horse. Ghislaine's horse. And then there was someone else in the files who had the nickname Bubba. And I can't recall who right now, but I'll look in my notes. So there were 3 Bubbas in the Epstein files. Which Bubba it could be, I don't know. Also, is that Napster? That is a Napster logo on that laptop. Holy shit. So the question is, did he suck off a horse, Clinton, or a different dude? That's the question. Okay? Also, I have to agree with Pat. I feel like he's trying to do a Superfly Snuka. I feel like he's slipping slowly into senility. That was fun. It could have been Billy Carter. It was someone else. I thought, was it Walter Cronkite? It was weird. It was like, oh, they call him Bubba too? But I do feel like, I really do feel like there could be a situation where he's trying to snook it, where he's like, I'm too old. So now that I'm senile, you can't get me. Ha ha ha. You know what I mean? I want to watch this one more time because I really like it, and the end is so good.
Response to these new Epstein emails that show that Trump, he did it. Who? Trump did it. Did what? He did everything you guys are thinking he did.
And you know what? Exactly. And that's another thing is, and yeah, Bubba was, and didn't he call Buster Bubba also? I feel like he called his son Bubba also. I could be wrong. Yeah, so that's the thing about Fox. I've tried to make this point before because a couple of people, I mean, in my personal, all the time, actually, like, people will say things just in conversations, especially, I like talking politics. Sometimes I don't, but it just depends on if people are actually willing to talk about it or if they just want to yell at you. And when I'm having a serious conversation about politics, inevitably you're going to get to the point where someone's going to say, like, or you might meet someone where someone's going to say, like, well, if I find out someone's a Republican or a Democrat, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be around them. Or how do you, oh, so you won't be friends with this person, but how do you feel about your parents? They're Republican. Like, there's always that thing, right? And I've always had the view that people's politics aren't really our business. Like, that's how I grew up. Like, I grew up where if you ask someone who they voted for, my grandma would be like, fucking rude. What's wrong with you? Don't ask people that. It's like asking what's your religion, or are you a virgin, or are your parents dead? It's just considered like, you're being too, stop asking people personal shit. And it's really wild. In 3 or 4 decades, everything has changed so much. Now people put signs in front of their yard proudly telling people this is who I'm voting for and why. Like, it's not just enough to support a candidate, because they've always had, like, I support this person, but it wasn't the biggest thing. Like, people wouldn't egg your house or something if they didn't agree with you. Now people put up signs that are like, I'm voting for this person and here's why. This is a house of science and this and that and that, and they'll literally list all their values. Like, now and then they put it online and then they yell about it in front of you. Like, it's just all in your face on every angle. And okay, but like, it's kind of weird to get used to, especially when, like, you'd get spanked for talking about that by your grandma. Like, it's like, am I allowed to do this? So inevitably you come to the point where, you really care about someone who believes the exact opposite of you. I really love Miss Pat, the comic Miss Pat. She's like the sweetest woman ever. Love her to death. So fucking funny. She's pretty, she has a lesbian daughter. She's pretty liberal, right? But there are times when she espouses conservative viewpoints. There are people that I know that live very liberal lives, and they're very kind, and they're not going to say anything like fucking mean about trans people, and they're not going to even ask you what's between your legs or what you're planning on doing with it. But they think Trump is hilarious. They don't see the harm, And it's kind of weird because it's a difficult subject when someone's like, well, this person's Republican and you like them. It's like, okay, if you think about it, if they're watching or in this bubble of only watching specific news, Republican-based news, i.e. Fox News, One America News, shit like that. If that's all they watch, do you really think that they know all the things? Do you really think that they are truly informed? Because I don't think they are. And that's why I think it's important to have dialogue. And it goes the other way too. If you're a Democrat or liberal or progressive and you only watch CNN or you only watch MSNBC or you only watch, what is it, the Young Turks? If you only watch one specific lane, then you might also not be fully informed on the devious shit your party's doing. And the thing about politics it's a lot like capitalism, right? It's specifically designed to work a certain way. And I think with politics, it's kind of designed to empower people and support people who are supposed to act on your behalf. They're supposed to serve you, almost like the police, protect and serve. Congress, the Senate, all of our leaders are supposed to be serving on our behalf, speaking up for us. And I do believe politics is designed to corrupt the very essence that it was built for. Because the second lobbyists, money, campaigning, and special interest groups come into the mix, it truly is a battle to find someone who's capable of being a good leader, who is untempted and objective. And typically, when we find those people, we make them judges. So you really need to be very wide in your breadth of what you're watching politically if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty and find the truth. And I personally believe that you can watch every single news station across every single political party on every single platform, and you're probably only going to get 5% the truth, maybe 10. Which is why you'll see me put on news from, well, Fox, because they don't copyright strike, but you'll see me add them into the mix. We'll add them all into the mix because I think it's important to see what other people are seeing and why they're not seeing what you are. So if I'm saying Trump blew a dude named Bubba, and you tell me you've never heard of that, and I say, well, what news do you watch? And you say Fox News, ding, 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 that's probably why, right? But in truth, should the news at all, any of the news stations be reporting that? Because it's in the files? Maybe. But out of context? No. Because the truth is, we don't actually know who Bubba was. It could be one of 4 different entities. But also because it was a statement made to someone who could have been making a joke. It could have been an inside joke, a callback, something completely made up. To report it at all without knowing for sure is kind of everything journalism is against. So really every single nugget that comes out of these documents, unfortunately, has to be taken with a lot of context. And some of it we don't have. And I think it's so fucking irresponsible the way a lot of people have been reporting or believing things that could actually be tips that are made up or fake, but ignoring the stuff that we know is real. Like there is enough egregious shit in there to fucking arrest everyone that is proven true and real with evidence. So to add in extra shit, it kind of feels like when they're like, oh, the girl was kidnapped. Do you think she's pregnant? Like, why are you adding that in? It just makes no sense. And actually, this is true too. Another reason I showed you Talibros, it's important to see how people on the other side of the world, people who are our allies and our enemies are reporting on things. And I agree completely with this. The government is full of pedos, thieves, liars, special interest people in it to make money, all of that. But I would just encourage you guys not to watch one specific news station. And I don't care which ones you watch, but try to watch a little from everything. Because if anything, even if everything they're telling us is a lie, you can at least know that they're all lying to us. And then you realize it's upon you to form an organic opinion and to investigate yourself. And with that said, we will finish this because it's very funny.
Does the White House have a response to these new Epstein emails that show that Trump, he did it? Who? Trump did it. Did what? He did everything you guys are thinking he did. He and Epstein? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're not denying it? Nah, fuck it. And also we killed Epstein to keep him quiet about this whole thing. Which was obviously a waste of time, but, you know. Hindsight's 20/20. Hindsight's 20/20. Wow, I didn't think you'd come out and Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're so excited to announce that Trump is going to pardon 5 turkeys this year instead of just one. But we were just as a kind of joke because he's been doing so much pardoning of like criminals. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's funny. That's turkeys are funny. Just move on. Funniest this Epstein thing. Yeah, nothing's going to happen with that. Trust. But this is above and beyond. Nah, it's not. But the Democrats, they might. No, they won't. Look, our people are still going to support us no matter what happens. And the Democrats, look at me, and the Democrats are still just going to do infighting about how the progressives aren't trying to understand where the right is coming from enough. And everything's going to go back to normal. So just don't worry about it. You know? Let's just talk turkey. It's better that way. Let's all just talk turkey. Okay? Okay, let's talk turkey. Also, Trump might have gone down on Bill Clinton. Turkey. Does the White House...
So good. Trump might have gone down on Bill Clinton. It's very funny. Very funny to me. Okay. Now moving on. This, I watch this so many times. I say that about a lot of these videos. I really like to show you videos that I loop. I like to loop them. I find them funny. This one is absurd. It reminds me again of all of you. I feel like this could be any one of you. I could insert any one of you into this video and it would make me laugh harder. I love this. I want to see more of it. I don't even care if it's a sketch. I just think it's brilliant. So this mom, she's doing like a review or something. She's a mom influencer or whatever. And she's like fucking looking at the camera, talking about Christmas shit. And her daughters are in the yard behind her. And what are they doing?
It goes down. Oh, shit.
Okay, so I want to start with, let's go back to how she took her down. Because it started as it looked like she was going to suplex her. But instead it turned into some wildly BJJ shit. Is the one on the right in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now the one on the left, she seems like she might be the oldest. Okay? So she might be used to taking these bitches down her whole life. And now they're fighting back. And I feel like that could be what's going on. Okay. So right there. She resisted being taken down Krav Maga style. This one almost got her into a pile driver. And there was a big pop. See right there? Perfect setup. But see the legs up. So not a pile driver. Could she have been doing a Dean Ambrose? Was she trying to do Cody Rhodes' finisher? I'm not sure, but I love them. Now there's a part that's very subtle that y'all might have missed. Knee to the tit, you guys. Knee to the tit. These are sisters. They are definitely sisters. Hi, Sassy. We're watching an influencer background fight. Now notice how the older one managed to take her down and get on top. And now I think this is the youngest one, and mom is coming out. What? Oh, Hoogan. Did you hear him snore? That was so loud. All right. And right here is where the older one is doing the quit hitting yourself, which is my favorite move personally. Dude, I want to know, what did your husband have to say about the Talabros? Isn't it infuriating? And no one's talking about it on the mainstream media like they should be. And it's crazy because I had to tell members of my family about it. And they were like, what the fuck? Like, they couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yeah. And they're doing it. They're indoctrinating the kids openly. And think about it. That Andrew Tate guy, like, I don't want to be a 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon type of person. But like, how infuriating the Talabros are. Like, all of it. If you think about it, look how closely tied they are to people like Andrew Tate and worshiping this incel boy culture, this fucking, what's his name? The meat guy, the raw meat guy that went nuts here in Austin and chased Joe Rogan. Like, all of these people are connected to big time influencers that people really love watching their content. Shit, people like Rogan. So it's not a big leap from Taliban at that point to big name celebrities that kids like fucking worship. And it's terrifying. And it's not cool. And the worst part is, it's infiltrating both sides. It's infiltrating, like, if we're going political, the left and the right, right? Because some people think, oh, it's progressive to be open to every culture, which, sure, be open to it. But once you figure out what the fuck it is, don't market it if it's bad. And a lot of people will go, oh, it's racist to hate the Taliban. Like, that's how far left they'll go. And then there's people who are so far right, they're like, who gives a fuck? And at this point, it's like, does anyone have any fucking values anymore? They're idiots. They don't know how, exactly. They don't understand how dangerous and awful what they're doing is. They are essentially working as a marketing tool for the Taliban. And it is so crazy. They are trying to see them chill. And then remember, we watched them watching the election. They didn't seem very chill there, did they? That's when they talk shit on all the women. But then we see a Talabro going, you're trying to spread mainstream gossip by saying they don't let women and girls go to school. They fucking don't. They absolutely don't. It's wild. It is. It's a marketing campaign. And we're so stupid as Americans that they're using us. It's absurd. We got to send these chicks there. They'll whoop their ass.
It goes down.
So anyway, good for her. I really like seeing, it's so funny to me. I think it's just so fun. Like, she's just casually like, and then look at this CD. And then, oh my God, oh shit, they're fighting again. Now, this thing I'm going to show you is a prank. Oh, don't spoil it. It's a prank that someone did. Yeah, the dogs getting involved is really funny. It really is. I got Talabroed today by my uncle's new physical therapist. Not sure where he's from, but he clearly didn't take too kindly to me. Totes woman hater. Whatever, bro, as long as my uncle likes him. Your uncle's new physical therapist? How did you meet that guy? Did you go to the appointment with him? Damn. Okay, so this is a prank that parents are doing. I think it is so cruel, but it's also fucking funny. And I kind of want to do it to my niece and nephew, but I also don't want to permanently scar them. But also, are you kidding me? So people are making Hunger Games announcement videos and telling their kids the Hunger Games is real. And tonight they're going to announce who is going to represent each state in the Hunger Games. And then they're putting their own kid's picture on it and making them watch it and then being like, oh my God, it's you. You have to go fight in the Hunger Games now. And the kids are getting so upset because they're believing it. Now, if you don't know what the Hunger Games is, Nagel, that's funny. It is funny, isn't it? Like, but it's fucked up. If you have ever seen the Hunger Games, you know why. And if you haven't, I'll just tell you straight up. It's like, Stone Cold was in a movie about this. Wasn't it called Battle Royale or something? It's basically there's one child who is supposed to represent every district in a community, and they've split it into however many districts. And then they drop the children off on an island where they have to basically kill each other until it's down to one or two. And then they get to live and fight in the next Hunger Games. And it's literally like battle of the strongest. So it's kids kill each other to see who lives. And they can be sponsored and people will drop things to help them. And it's just crazy. And I know, Steven, it would. Everybody welcome Steven, who is earmuffless tonight. Put your earmuffs on, Steven, right now. And you probably would have loved the Hunger Games, to be honest. Yeah, it's like Trump announced we're having a contest with kids from every state. And now these kids are going to have to fight in the Hunger Games. So this is a boy finding out he was chosen for the Hunger Games. Here we go. So his sister was chosen. Okay. His sister was chosen. And now he's going to see if he's chosen. Because it's a boy and a girl. Oh no, Emil. Oh no, it's him. Volunteers tribute, you little fucker.
You're lying.
Damn. They told him. I was surprised she wasn't crying. Yeah. It's because she volunteered as tribute, you little shit. Love him. Love that for him. Okay, I get it. And I think it's very funny. But I still refuse to watch. Stranger Things. Why? Because I watched half an episode and I said, this is some bullshit. Trying to be the Goonies. I don't give a fuck. All these kids are in their 20s. Why are we pretending they're children? Why is her nose bleeding? Put some clothes on her. Stick a cotton ball up her nose and put her back to bed. What is the problem? You know? Winona Ryder, what are you doing? Put your kids to bed. Move out of the creepy house. Also, that fucking cop, the actor who cheated on Lily Allen and was horrible. Yeah, I can't see him as a good dad anymore after all the horrible shit that's come out about him. Yeah, it's so annoying. Like I'm sorry if you guys like this show. I don't get the hype. I think Dylan liked a season, but like, what are we doing? Like that David Harbour guy. Apparently he's a shit. All I know is like, none of them fit the roles. Euphoria was so fucking campy and crazy and had such good writing that I could handle that, even though it did creep me out. But like this, it's like, unbutton the top button. Why do you have that bowl cut? Oh, because it's a period piece? Okay, well, we already have 1 million of those. Honestly, it just pisses me off. But then somebody took the chick from Dance Moms, which I've also only seen snippets of, but every snippet I've seen has her in it. She's the crazy mom. I get it. Now, with that said, combining the two, genius. Fucking genius. actually makes me really interested. And now I'm going to watch more Dance Moms. You check this out.
Let me out of here! Open the door. Open the door! Me too.
What?
Tried to stop him, okay? I did.
What are all the tears about? I don't understand.
Stay away from me, Karen. Perfect form.
Your feet are like hooves. You're flexing your foot and you're clenching your toes.
You know, I could teach you if you like.
I'm Abby Lee Miller. I know what I'm doing.
Let me out of here!
God, I love her. I'm Abby Lee Miller. I know what I'm doing. I kind of want to meet her one day. Like, she definitely scares the shit out of me. Put her in this show and I'll watch it. For real, though. Not like as a joke. I want her in the show and I'll watch it. I'll watch every season if she's in it. Okay. Last video. And then we move on to the gabagool. This kid got the cops called on him. He doesn't know why. I think I know why. But oh yeah, I watch Teen Moms, but not Dance Moms. The show's called Dance Moms. I think, right? That's the one she's in. And there's the one where she's the one in the wheelchair, right? That's like my favorite thing ever. Someone tells her to be quiet or something at a dance event, and she just wheelchairs out and down the road, and the producers have to chase her. And it's very funny. This is so fucking funny to me. I'm going to turn the mic off because I don't want to scream laugh, but I'm going to scream laugh. This kid getting the cops called on him, his response, and the cops running away so fast. It's so good.
I'm Babbage.
You all right?
Why are you asking? Do I look not good?
We got calls, that's all.
Why are they calling?
Hello.
Wait, why are they calling on me? What? Do I need what?
Police?
Why would I need police? I know I'm serving, but like, I can do that on my own. Why are they calling? They're so weird. Why are they calling on me? Why are they calling? Why are they calling? Why are they calling on me? Why?
This is Kevin. This is Kevin from South Boston, everyone. Everyone, I found the real Kevin from South Boston, and he's serving right now. Okay, he's a little busy serving right now.
I'm Babbage.
You all right?
Why are you asking? Do I look not good?
We got calls, that's all.
Why are they calling?
This cop will not make eye contact. He does not want to get too close. The fact that he's passively yelling, "Are you okay?"
Hello.
Wait, why are they calling on me? What? Do I need what?
Police?
Why would I need police? I know I'm serving, but like, I can do that on my own. Why are they calling? They're so weird. Why are they calling on me?
Why are they calling on me?
Why are they calling?
Why are they
Why are they
calling?
calling? Why are they calling on me? Why? Who called them?
Who called them?
Who called them right now? Who called them? They really want to lock me up. The
They wanna
haters.
lock me up.
But they
The
can't
haters.
get me. They can't get me.
This is all of us. I feel like this is us. In the ongoing feuds on X, this is you and me. This is us. Why did they call the cops on us? No, because he doesn't have any knives, and I'm not concerned with his well-being. He is just, yeah, he's just being lewd and lascivious, and I love it. Why can't we just be a little lewd and lascivious, Your Honor?
Who called them?
Who called them?
Who called them right now?
Who called them?
Who called them? They really want to lock me up. The haters.
Yeah, that's right. Your auntie used to crab crawl and get upside down and twerk to videos of the trial.
But they can't get me. They can't get me.
They can't get me.
Never.
Never. Twerk, 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 twerk.
Y'all are bored. Y'all are so bored. You want to call the popo on me, but they can't catch me because I'm a bad.
Actually, is this Gypsy Rose? Holy shit. Oh, my bad. This isn't Kevin. You wrong, Kevin. This is Gypsy Rose, you guys. Gypsy's doing good. She's actually not. Gypsy Rose is doing very bad right now. Didn't she go on a podcast or on her own social media and announce that she killed her mom or something and said all this creepy shit? She's getting creepier, dude. She's definitely getting creepier. This is who Britney's trying to be. She's trying to be Gypsy.
Bad bitch.
A bad bitch. And that's Carefree Dancer. If you guys want to follow along, Gypsy Rose's new account is Carefree Dancer. And if those cops did try to arrest our bitch, guess what would happen? We would take them to court, and this would be our attorney.
Your Honor, defer. Miss Janice.
Judge Athens.
Your Honor, this is so unfair. Your Honor, I think I want to appeal. Your Honor. Your Honor, stop. This is propaganda. Your Honor, this is fake. Don't believe what they say.
Your Honor, this is propaganda. Don't believe what they say. Defer? And for those of you just joining who just stepped in, I would like to remind you that if you'd like to be here, you are always welcome, especially if you're
Hi. You're both high.
Now, I might get a little mad from time to time at you, and I might say some shit like this.
Oh, I have not smoked all day. I'm about to flip the out. Smoke what? Weed. What do you think? I haven't smoked all day long. What are you going? You need drug rehab? No, not really. I like to smoke about this time of the day, and all this is keeping me to where I can't go do it. Now I'm gonna go do it. You're strung out on weed?
And then you might feel a little like, wow, she's strung out on weed. And then you call up someone and you say,
Sorry. You make me so angry. You know, all you do, you keep smoking weed. Well, you know what? Sit in jail and pay the price. That's all I can say.
And then I would probably say something to you like this.
Are you autism?
Sorry, what?
Are you autism? Read this.
Okay. It's Autistic Girl Summer. Let's yell on the beach and also on the spectrum.
Thank you. Also comes in boy version and non-binary version. Now look at this one, please.
Please excuse my poor eye contact. I'm infected with autism.
Are you in love with alcohol? This is good for Mother's Day.
It's wine o'clock, time to talk to my son.
Thank you. You can have it.
Really?
Not this one. Get your phone. I'll show you.
Oh, you want me to buy it?
You don't want to support my dreams?
It's just like the service here is just kind of spotty, so but I will order it when I get home.
Leave now.
I'm sorry?
Leave.
Okay. And I'm back. Hi, everyone. So let's talk about the news. There are two stories we're going to get to, and then we're going to get into Epstein. They're going to be brief. One of them is an update that is bittersweet, but I'm honestly kind of surprised that we're getting any closure at all on this, and that they're being honest with us, and that they released a name, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this first news story has to do with Tupac, okay? Because if you're here for the Brenda's Got a Baby episode, we talked at length about that situation and how a local author or a national author who wrote for sports typically wrote the Tupac biography and was able to speak to all kinds of people that no one has heard from before, including the subject of the hit song Brenda's Got Baby by Tupac. And not only that, but the baby, after explaining the news story behind how Tupac came to write the song. And a lot of you guys, it seemed, really liked that episode because y'all brought it up and stuff, and that makes me feel good. I thought it was a very interesting subject matter, and it does have to do with a very serious criminal case, especially when you consider that the man who allegedly shot Tupac, and I say that because, you know, a lot of people, including me, believe that there were others, including Diddy himself, putting the hit out. A lawyer recently for this shooter is asking the judge to toss evidence. And when this is going to trial, I believe they said it would be sooner than later. And it seems to, I was very surprised to see anything about it. It seems to be dragging on. I don't know what's going on with this, but I do believe it's in Vegas, right? Also, hello, Peter. Nice to see you. Yes, we're actually I have some OSINT episodes coming up that I'm planning. Unfortunately, I wish we could do more OSINT stuff on here, but unfortunately, some of it involves, I guess, privacy issues. So trying to work around that's very difficult. So I have to very carefully plan those, but we will be doing some more because there's some new tools out, and I will be updating the OSINT cheat sheet by the 1st. We're going to go back to the 1st for the updates, allegedly with entertainment purposes. For entertainment purposes only. Thank you very much, Tiff. Always on the lookout. So, the lawyer for the man accused of Tupac Shakur murder asked the judge to toss out evidence. Here's the story. Let's see what's going on here.
Lawyers for the man charged with murdering the rapper Tupac Shakur filing a motion this week. 8 News Now investigator Kyle Payne joins us live in studio with more. Kyle, why now?
And by the way, a lot of people were anticipating this. I don't know what he's going to say. Shakur. I always say it wrong. Shakur. So remember Shakari? She was the best in the Olympics. And they were like, you smoke weed. Get the fuck out. Maybe so mad. Shakari. That was her name. Anyway, Richardson. Oh, there's a great documentary about that too. I need to figure out the name of it. I'll find the name of it. It's incredible. It's about all the people who ran in the Olympics and shit, track and field. Anyway, back to this. A lot of people were anticipating this, especially because of some of the things found out in the P. Diddy trial. Some of the statements made. And after the fact, now that we know a lot more than we did before about how P. Diddy operated, some people were saying that this fella here ought to get a second chance, or ought to get some of his evidence reviewed, or they should be arresting this other guy. And I'm just curious what's going to happen with that. What do you guys think? Do you think, because think about it with Dalia DiPolito and all these other cases, like when you put a hit on someone, you go to jail for it. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious that P. Diddy had a heavy hand in this. Any charges, maybe?
Brian, the murder trial for Dwayne Davis, best known as Keefe D, is coming right up this summer, and his new lawyer wants to get some of the evidence the state plans to use against him tossed as soon as he can.
They have a right to their point of view. We have a right to ours, and nobody has a monopoly on the truth, or in this case, the facts.
And some of those facts, Davis's attorney, Robert Draskovich, wants to clarify, as he did in this 24-page motion to suppress evidence that Metro Police seized in a nighttime search of Davis's home. Davis's lawyer writing the police didn't have good reason to break down Davis's door in the middle of the night, so to speak, and that this affidavit Metro showed a judge in order to get that warrant shouldn't have been enough for her to allow the nighttime search. The motion to suppress says the court was misled and that there was bad faith, meaning the judge should toss any evidence the police recovered that night. The 8 News Now investigator spoke.
I am going to be getting my hands on this now because I want to know, first of all, motion to suppress, is this due to a lack of probable cause? Or is this, I mean, that would have been a probable cause hearing, but it sounds like, I mean, if they didn't have enough to do that, to enact the search warrant, or for the judge to sign off on it, that would be a probable cause issue, right? So, and also, oh my God, I love twins. This is so exciting. I know she's trying to process having a whole other dad, but tell her I'm not a very good dad, but I do favor twins because that's weird. There's two of you guys. You know what? I was going to pause it and I didn't. I was like, I don't want to throw in unnecessary shit, but I liked that. You didn't like that? No, because he is essentially letting them know that people are using truth and fact wrong. So he wants to make it very clear, like, it is what it is, like reality. And I can see why someone would say that in these times. Yeah, illegal search and seizure. But I feel like they could have made a probable cause argument to that too, considering they should have been raiding Diddy's again for it. I mean, I guess
with Draskevich.
My issue is the gun. Like, did they find the gun?
Was misled and that there was bad faith, meaning the judge should toss any evidence the police recovered that night. The 8 News Now investigator spoke with Draskevich earlier this year.
We keep our eye on the ball. What we do is we lay out all the tasks that need to occur before the trial date.
This man has the bangs of a teenage girl in 1988. What the fuck? I had a Homies character that I was obsessed with. Remember the Homies dolls? And she was the best of the cholas. She had pleated khakis. She was dressed like the dudes, top buttoned, no bandana, not around the head. It was around the neck. And she had that hair with the crimpy long curls. And I wanted to be her so bad. I loved her so much. She was my favorite Homies character. He has her bangs. Wow.
Investigation that needs to occur, interviews that need to take place, subpoenas that need to be issued. We are just beginning that now.
Okay, so this is important because anybody who knows anything about, and if you don't, when it comes to the Tupac issue, it wasn't one person, it was multiple people. Okay? Multiple people whooped each other's ass that night. Multiple people were in both cars. Multiple people had a hand in seeing this judgment handed down by someone. And many people believe that it was Diddy who put the hit out on Tupac. Not just because of evidence or because of what the streets say, but it's literally laughable that people don't think he did, considering it's in lyrics and songs from people who know him, who work for him, and he himself. Fucking Eminem snitched on him in a song. It was awesome. They need to serve other subpoenas. They need to interview other people. And many of those people are surrounding Diddy. Let's be real. I kind of love this lawyer now.
Now, this motion to suppress, accompanied by 186 pages of supporting documents, including a list of items the cops took from Davis's home after the search, like a USB drive.
Hold on. White iPad with a broken screen. Gold iPad. Keep in mind, back when this happened, there were no iPads. So probably look at Pokeball USB drive. I mean, I don't even think there were USBs, right? We were still fucking around with floppy disks. Toshiba, like, I guess they're looking for him talking about it.
Like a USB drive, an iPhone, iPads, laptops, and other tablets. The second page showing the police also.
Yeah, why can't they? That's what I don't get is like they had it. Did they do GSR on anybody back then? Like, did they check the striations and match it? Did they check who the gun was registered to? We don't know anything about a serial number. Yeah, he did. And so did Fitty. It's crazy. Like, how are they not? And also, did Diddy have any guns registered? Who, like, obviously, you know, because it's the late 90s, there were different laws. There were different. It was Clinton who came in with the, what was that act? The Baker Act? J-Lo has GSR. Yeah, and wasn't she there when he shot at a crowd or something? Like, or are you fucking around? She was there, though. She did get interrogated. Like, it was kind of a big fucking deal. I want to know more about this shit. I wonder if there are insinuations in these documents. I will be trying to get a hold of these documents so that we can do an episode on this. I'm so curious about a lot of this shit. Copy of Vibe magazine from what year? On Tupac? That's not that weird, but I would grab it anyway.
Grabbed a copy of Vibe magazine on the murder victim, the rapper Tupac Shakur. A copy of the book Compton Street Legends.
Holy shit. Congratulations. Aloha mahalo. Ohana. Dude. Congratulations. Giving paw is a big thing. It's really hard. You telling me your dog's throwing paw? I'm so sorry. Do you remember? It was Deb. It was a bunch of you guys always talk about throwing neck now. And then I went and watched some badass drag queen podcast where they were talking about the way one of them said, she goes, throwing neck, throwing. She's out here throwing her neck. Like, it reminded me of, like, you don't know my life. You don't know what I've been through. Throwing neck. That shit's so funny. Throwing paw. She's out here throwing paw. Damn, she out here throwing paw at you. Shit. What? WIPs? This sounds like you're in fucking war, Age of Nefarious. That is a cute kitty. 14? Girl, we gotta get you on a schedule. Fuck everything. Stop everything. We'll figure out who murdered Tupac later. 14. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Age, I need you to tell me what are the 3 of those 14. I need you to put it in chat right now. Out of your projects, I just need to know the 3 that have taken the longest. I don't need to know why. No excuses. What are the 3 of your knitting projects? AKA crochet. Where my cross-stitching bitches at? That's just yarn? Okay, well, what are the 3? Answer the question. You're being interrogated. Answer the question right now. You're grounded. What are the 3 that have taken you the longest? Not why. What are they? See, again, you immediately gave me an excuse. ADD. No, that's not the question. I didn't ask, what are you diagnosed with? I asked you, out of the 14, what are the 3 that have taken the longest? We're going to wait. We're going to wait. This episode will wait until you respond with the answer. And we can wait all night. I'm not wearing a watch. Blanket, maybe? So did you not decide what it was going to be? Okay, what are the other 2? We're going to wait. You never finished a blanket. Okay, so that's 1. We're getting there. You could have put all 3 in one answer. You're taking your time on this. I need you to speed it up. Come on. Right? Okay, that's not. So you don't know what it's going to be. Okay. So you started off with, we'll see what this comes out to. And so far, it's been a long time. And you still don't even know what it's supposed to be. Okay, so what are the other 2? What are the other 2? Age of Nefarious. I just start going, and if it starts to look like a bag. Okay. Okay. So what you have is a lot of beginnings with no ends, but you also have no set forth end goal. Have you considered that the reason you are not finishing projects is because you don't know what the goal is? Because I would imagine that if you are starting something, just completely free balling, No, like a yarn ball. Oh, good one. Age of Nefarious. My goodness. No pattern or goals. Okay. So what you're doing is you are challenging yourself to a race. I want you to take yourself out of yourself. It's you and your spirit self, and you are next to each other, and you are in the street, and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to race you. I can beat you. We are going to do a race today. And your spirit self says, fucking onward, bitch. And then you blow the whistle and you both take off. And then you realize as you're running, how far are we? Is it 100 meters? Are we going to the end of the block? Are we going to go a mile? Are we going to? And now what you're doing is Forrest Gump in it. And Forrest Gump was a movie. It was a dream. It's something someone created in their head. It is a character. It's not real. Just like your end goal is not real. It does not exist. There is no spoon. You see what I'm saying? So now you're running forever. How many races are you going to run and then get gassed and eventually pass out and then no one wins before you realize I should just say at the end of the block? I think that if you have intention and goal, then everything is laid out for you. And you will finish it first. You will start getting more organized, and the ADD will take care of itself because there's at least intention. You at least know what it's supposed to be. So I think in the spirit of doing baby steps, tonight you should take those 13 or 14. How many free balling goals are you doing? You need to take all those items. You need to put them on a table, and I want you to take a note card. I want you to write down what that item will be. Not what it's supposed to be, where you think it could go. I want you to finally pick, give your baby a name, girl. I don't know where that came from. That was from a talk show from the 90s, and I've been trying to find it for years. I don't remember which one. I just remember the audience member yelling at the woman, give that baby a name, girl. That baby needs a name. You haven't even named your baby yet. And I went, oh, I just love quoting that. You haven't named your baby yet. What is that? Is it a purse? I need you to identify what it is. And then you start at the oldest one and you plow through it. And your treat at the end, when you finish them, is you can start a new one. But until then, I don't want you fucking around with any new shit. Do you understand? Para acá. You want pop-ups? Huacatela. I will smack you with love and encouragement. I need you to finish those before you are allowed to start a new one. Okay? It will be a small pet blanket or mat. Okay? And I want you to be very direct with yourself. Pick one. Blanket or mat. You can't have both. You're welcome, Age. That hit close to home because I've done the same thing and I will be taking my own advice as well. Started things I'm not sure with. Yeah, if you don't know what it is, how will you know that you're finished? Exactly. And you can't be doing this shit forever. You have new shit you have to do. And here's another thing. When you start to think, ooh, I'm inspired, I want to make something else. Don't make it. Write down what you want to make next so that you're getting it out. You don't forget it. But also now you have a new goal to look at. You can look at that and go, as soon as I finish these 13, then I can do that. You need to finish this shit. We don't fuck around in crochet. Okay? This is real fucking life. Gang, gang. Suwoo, blood shit. I need you to make your scarf or whatever the fuck it is. I need you to finish it. Stop starting new shit. You ain't even finished this. You ain't even gone out and hit Pac yet? I'm so sorry. Whoa. Okay, back to the news.
In which Davis is alleged to have confessed to the murder. District Attorney Steve Wolfson, back when Davis was arrested over 2 years ago, standing behind the evidence Davis is now challenging.
This is an important case. We wanted to make sure we did it right. We wanted to make sure we had legally admissible evidence. We wanted to make sure that we felt comfortable that we had sufficient legal evidence. You know, if you're going to charge a person with murder, he has a right to believe that the system would only bring charges if there was sufficient legal evidence.
Davis's attorney is no stranger to high-profile cases. Robert Draskowitz just defended a former porn star who was convicted of beheading her ex-husband. Andy represented disgraced politician Robert Tellis in his murder case.
Oh, shit. Was Robert Tellis the hat guy who wore the gardening hat to court? Or when he was trying to kill someone? The one who looks like Boss Baby? Melissa? Don't be smart with me. Okay? Yes, Reddit is forever going. Put your crafts up there. And if you find one age and you're like, I really don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be, put it up on Reddit and let them pick. They'll tell you what it is. Sometimes you don't know what something is until someone else repurposes it. Kyle Payne. My name is Kyle Payne. Have you been injured?
Year ago, August, Brian.
Dwayne Davis and the lawyers on both.
Whoa. Hello, stud. Oh, hi, Silver Stud. God damn. You got glistening concrete eyes and hair. Oh my God. Has Brian Enton seen you? He's going to get jealous. He's going to get jealous. Look at that. It matches your suit. Are those tiny lights or Christmas trees? I'm in love. Don't tell Dylan. Look at that ear ratio. Look at that tiny, barely there eyebrow. Damn. His hair matches his eyes. He does look like he smells good. He looks like he gets to go in that place through the door in the airports where the rich people go. He looks like he gets to skip ahead in lines for fancy events. I believe you, sir. I will vote for you. He's a baby Josh Ritter. Wow. He's got scary eyes. I would join his cult.
Sides will appear in court January 6th to argue the latest motion. Davis.
Oh my God. Him fighting sweatpants. Sweatpants? What? Him fighting sweatpants Colin on a roof? Could you imagine?
Get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. Big boy ain't been on the roof. Never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. Big boy ain't play on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy grill on the roof. Never seen a big boy grill on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy grill on the roof. Big boy grilling on the roof. Big boy grilling on the roof. Big boy ain't grilling on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. Big boy ain't driving on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. How you do it like that? Damn, you got tools on your back. Driving on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. Shit, big boy get loose. Shit, big boy get loose. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. I ain't never, oh shit, he's on the roof. I ain't never see a big boy hop on the roof. How you do it like that? Look, shit, you just like a back. Shit, pick up your back. I ain't never see a big boy get on the roof. Get on the roof. Get on the roof. Get your ass out the roof. Get your ass back out the roof. I ain't never see a big boy leap on the roof. Get the big ass off.
Okay. And I'm going to let Bay go on.
Is serving a sentence at High Desert State Prison for a fight he started when he was in Clark County Detention Center awaiting his murder trial.
Marks 4 years since 3.
So this isn't last news piece we're going to hear about. and then we're going to talk Epstein stuff. This one, so I've been working on an episode for a while, or I had been. And then one day I was like, fuck it, I just need to talk about this. And we ended up, it was supposed to be part of an episode where we were going to talk about 2 or 3 different big news stories that were going on. Because there was Suzanne Simpson, something else. And then I remember just thinking, like, I should bring up Lina too, because this is kind of a little bit in that area. Oh, and I do remember it was Savannah Soto. And I was explaining how a couple of things, how Savannah Soto and the apartments that she was in and that they were around in that area also had a high population of refugees. And I believe I went on Duty Ron and talked about this too, about how the apartments that are low income also tend to have a high acceptance rate of refugees. And there's a lot of military shit around there. There's USAA. And that not too far from there is where a little girl got kidnapped, Lina Sardar Khil. And it had been quite a while, and it was a very disturbing story. And a lot of people in the Savannah Soto case were making kind of, I'll just say it, they were being fucking racist about immigrants and refugees and the difference and the communities that they live in, and speaking about them in a way that didn't really consider culture or situation, circumstance. And I didn't like it. And this was like on multiple platforms, under YouTube videos, under my own videos, under the video where I talk with Duty Ron about it. Like, there are a lot of people who are trying to make it like very political because of, you know, the neighborhoods. And I was trying to explain more of like how it is living there, because I used to work at these very apartment complexes. A lot of them were managed by the same management company. And I worked for that management company about 2 decades ago. And I was doing make readies, and I knew that community. And I know people who still work there and live there. And what's interesting is last night we were talking about the planes that would take Afghan refugees back to the US and how they were super crowded. And there was like this influx of rescuing refugees and bringing them here specifically to Texas. And that Lina Sardar Khil was a little girl who came across with her dad. And a lot of the male figures in this are people who worked with our military, worked as translators, supported the United States in multiple missions over the years to protect our way of life and our country. And they're considered allies. They're considered, I mean, up there with soldiers that fight for our rights because they helped. Even small things like translating, it's like a big deal. People think that it's just, oh, you're just interpreting. Like, these people can get murdered for doing this. They can lose their whole families. Their families can be blown up. Like, they're doing this to help us. So a lot of people who worked with us, they were basically promised like refugee status and given that. And when they were brought here, they were brought to San Antonio and Austin, quite a few of them. And so they live in these residential communities that are typically reserved for, they have like reserved spots for low income families. And what they'll do is they will have like, there will be 1 or 2 complexes like right in the middle of the city that have a ton of Afghani refugees in them. They just, that's just how it is, because, you know, they were put through this program, and part of the process is not separating them, like allowing them to stay together, because culturally there's a lot of norms that they have, and they can travel in groups to places, and they can learn to acclimate to society depending on how long they're going to be here, and they can figure out like how the bus system works together. It's just more convenient for them, and it gives them a sense of home, right? So in Lina's case, 4 years ago, she went missing from a complex like this in San Antonio. Now, this complex I had worked at before, and I can tell you there are a lot of meth heads in the area. I would have to clean apartments where people were kicked out for smoking and cooking meth in apartments. Even though it's kind of a safe neighborhood, the complexes themselves, even though it was across from a military-based USAA complex, the area itself does have a lot of crime. And Lina was one of several children in this little group of kids who were from Afghanistan and had been here for like a year or two at that point. I think it might have been even less than a year for some of them. And the way their culture works is that at least this is what has been said by the what do you call it, the victims advocates that come over and speak on this to the press. They've spoken to San Antonio Express News, been on Case at 12. I think even Ick and Mel had the guy that works directly with her family on at one point talking about this. But one of the big issues that basically fell upon this poor family is that people were asking questions about, like, why isn't the mom speaking to the press? It's because of the culture. The mother doesn't want to be on camera and doesn't speak to other men than her husband, shit like that. But also they have a thing where, you just need one adult to babysit all the kids. And it's not uncommon for like the oldest kid to watch all the kids during playtime. You don't have every parent out there staring at their child like you do in a New York park or like it is here for most people in America. You usually have one trusted individual that watches over all of them, and that's how the culture is. What's interesting too is in Afghanistan, kidnapping of young girl statistics super fucking low. Like, if someone's going to do something to you, they're just going to kill your whole family. Like, there's no like, I'm going to kidnap this little girl and then go diddle her. That's not really like, it happens just like it happens anywhere else, but not an insane amount. It's the rates are extremely low. There are other worse things, some people might say, that will happen to a big group, or they might be exploited in other ways that we're not going to get into. But the specific situation where someone kidnaps a little girl and then you never see her again and the family doesn't know what's going on, it's kind of a rare thing in their culture. They didn't expect that. So to come to America for a safe, better life and then to have their little girl disappear and go missing was an absolute shock to them. And unfortunately, little girls are not as valuable to that culture in a way for specific things. And no, like that's the thing, is that's why the dad wanted to leave, right? They don't want to. This is a very progressive family. Okay, they're not going to marry off their kid at a young age. They're literally here to get away from that shit. So it's really wild that this happened the way it did, because there are so many cameras, and a camera even caught Lina's last moments. I've always felt, and I made this clear, that I don't think she left the complex. I think that somebody in the complex got her. And in this episode we did the last time, I told you guys about how there was a sex offender who lived very near to her at the time. Possibly even next door, right across the hall, if I remember correctly. That this sex offender they raided the apartment within a year, but it wasn't actually for Lina. And it was on the police blotter. It was actually because he was a fugitive on the run, and the marshals were looking at him because of some cartel shit. But that this guy was a sex offender against a 5-year-old girl, and that he had been wanted. And he was living in an apartment with a girlfriend who had 4 kids. I believe it was 3 or 4. 2 of them, I believe, were very young girls. I didn't want to name any of these people at the time. And I believe I did give his name and showed his picture. But at the same time, keep in mind, he was wanted for other shit. However, he was also friendly with people who were neighbors, and apparently none of them knew this. Even though in Texas, you get these alerts and you get these postcards that show that you're a sex offender on the door. Now, one person who lived in that complex stated that right around when this happened, they had gotten a notice on the door when he took off. So apparently, they get this notice that has his picture, like a postcard. It says, "You have a sex offender living near you." And they're like, "Whoa." And then he dips. And then, boom, the apartment gets raided. They're looking for him. They eventually catch up with him and arrest him. I believe he might have been trafficking. They'll talk about it. He was doing other shit. But right after he gets arrested, that's when this tip is reported on the news from an inmate in San Antonio. And then after that, about a year later, there was finally a dig nearby by the FBI. And around then, I believe, is when we had the episode, because I was telling you about this dig and how, this guy was wanted. He is a registered sex offender. He lived right there. He could have easily grabbed her. He goes to jail, and then all of a sudden there's a jailhouse tip. He's caught, but no one's convicted of anything that has to do with Lina. This is weird. Well, now we have an update, and they didn't have to share this with us, but they did. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Kidnapping risk in high and unstable regions. Kidnapping is common to risk in U.S. low. Interesting. I think the U.S. one is going by the U.S. totality, right? Like, I believe the ratio is different because you have to consider state by state, and it is relatively low. But when you consider worldwide, they might be comparing it to other regions, like places like Russia and shit. That changes the ratio, right? In Afghanistan, I'm saying where they specifically work. This is like what I can't remember if he was a cleric, but he was a victim's advocate who worked with the church there. And he was talking about how their community, I'm not good at my map. I don't know where exactly in Afghanistan they lived, but in their community, extremely low. Like where they come from there, it didn't happen. Like it was such a not a thing. And he was explaining this on It Could Mel. So I would recommend, if you can stand it, because I know a lot of you guys have your opinions on these creators, but I would recommend watching that episode. I can link it below. But he does describe it way better than I ever could. So I probably should I should find out that guy's name. It was very interesting. He was describing the culture and how basically like just one person watching over the kids or the oldest kids watching the kids is like very normal. Yeah, small town, everyone knows everyone type of thing. And it's also weird because there was another story that took place in the Philippines, and there was a girl who was interviewed, and this is just a long time ago I saw this. It was some other creator, and they were talking about this weird case, and this girl who was from the Philippines was talking about it, and she said, in the area I grew up in, people were very poor, but I was very rich. And they asked her what rich is. And she says, well, I mean, we have like a fruit shop or something. They had like a shop, like a storefront that sold fruit. And so they go back to see it. And after you've heard her describe it, you go see it and you realize like, holy shit, like for the Philippines, this is ballin'. But in the US, this is not. Like, this is actually like, I feel bad for this woman. But there's different, you know what I mean? There's different levels of what is dangerous and not dangerous, what's rich, what's poor. But it was weird because they were talking about the culture there and just about like what people can get away with and what's considered a crime and how crimes are punished. And I was just blown away. I was like, this is wild. And also like how people wipe was one of the subjects. And one chick said she wiped with her hand. It tripped me out. I was like, what? And she's like, and then you wash it. You dunk your ass. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Your daughter-in-law's from the Philippines? What does she think about the weather? Because apparently it's super fucking hot there. They were saying it's so hot you just sweat constantly, and then you get used to it. So here they're all cold. Does she wear a lot of sweaters? Like even in the heat? Very interesting. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in it. This is this is the update. Curious if the FBI, like how they're going to end up calling it with this one. They need to find her body, in my opinion, like absolutely, for this poor family. But I was very surprised the family didn't know some of this, because even I knew this. Like, a lot of people, I think, would know this, considering that they hand out those cards and shit. But then it occurred to me, like, they don't speak English, so they might have just not been able, they maybe didn't understand what they got on the door if they did get that notification about this guy. But they finally name him, and there's finally, I think, some closure. But I don't think it'll be fully closed or anything until they find where she is. But I 100% think that this guy did it. I said it back then, I'm going to say it again, and I hope he gets charged eventually.
3-year-old Lina Khil vanished from her Northwest Side apartment complex, and tonight, shocking revelations in the investigation. It's a story you're hearing first on Fox. Lina's family learning new details in their daughter's case they've never heard before, revealed during a recent meeting with San Antonio police and the FBI. The exclusive story tonight from Fox SA's Yami Vidhen as part of our Missing for the Holidays, a season for justice.
4 years ago, on December 20th, 2021, 3-year-old Lina Sardar Khil vanished from her Northwest Side apartment complex. These are the last images of Lina laughing and playing on the.
So see how tiny she is? And she was wearing a very specific little red dress. And her dad crying on the news is like the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. It's so sad. And this poor little girl, and she's right there. She's looking at the fence. Now, across the street is USAA. And it is a massive complex. And it is heavily, heavily surveilled. We would have seen her 100% go by, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little nugget. One time, Gray Hughes was talking about this case before I ever had a channel. And I got pissed off because I felt that he was misrepresenting the possibilities as far as the fence slats go. He was talking about, oh, a little kid couldn't make it through here, so this must not have. And I'm sitting there like looking at it like, dude, I worked there. I've been there. You can a child can squeeze through the slats in the USAA fence into those woods so easy. And I was getting pissed. So I called in to kindly let him know, hey, listen, I've been there. A kid can get that. And there's also, he was saying like, no one would have seen right over here. And I'm like, dude, this is so heavily trafficked. And I was trying to explain to him what the neighborhood was like because he thought it was nice. And I'm like, no. And he got a little argumentative with me. And that's when I was like, I don't fucking like this dude. He's fucking chode. But I'll tell you what. This case, it needed something. It needed this. Someone needed to talk about it because they don't talk about it enough. And I don't see this little girl getting through this area, through a parking lot, across a busy street and into USAA anyway. Because it would have been on camera. In my opinion, she stayed in the complex the whole time. So a lot of other people had that opinion too. But here's the problem. As soon as they said that, they said, oh, the parents did it. Oh, the parents sold her. And that's where the racism comes in. A lot of like, you know what they do? You know what they do? What religion are they? Come on. She's literally a little baby. Like, chill the fuck out. So everyone wanted to blame the parents. There is a sex offender right across the hall. And no one talked about it. His address was publicly printed with the apartment number. For fuck's sake.
Playground just steps away from her home. For her mother and father, that video is where time stopped. Despite one of the largest searches the city has seen, Lina was never found. As the anniversary approached, Lina's father was called into a meeting with San Antonio police detectives and the FBI. He was accompanied by Pamela Allen of Eagles Flight Advocacy, who has served as the family's advocate throughout the investigation, getting information they had not heard before.
And they said that they had some updates and they wanted to share. One of the other reasons why they had reached out to us in November of this year was because we had involved a business called CyberCheck. We wanted to involve them in Lina's case.
Investigators acknowledge gaps in communication and disclose searches the family had never been told about.
So everybody knows, because we saw it on media, that there was a dig for Lina's body on February of 2024. But what we didn't know is there were 3 other searches that had happened.
Police also addressed a man whose name has repeatedly surfaced in tips and jailhouse conversations.
Here's this man saying that his daughter played with Lina. Here's this man at one point describing to law enforcement officials, he's describing how he hurt Lina.
Did he kill Lina?
Yes, he is saying that he killed Lina.
Pete Tamés was not unknown to law enforcement or to Fox SA. We featured Tamés in 2017 and again in 2019 on our Marshall's Most Wanted segment, when he was wanted by federal authorities for human smuggling. Investigators told the family the high-profile case in which prosecutors later said Tamés made false statements about was the search for Lina Sardar Khil. Allen tells us police confirmed Tamés lived in the same apartment complex where Lina disappeared.
It was even reported that his daughter played with Lina. Pete Tamés made a confession that he killed Lina.
This led investigators to multiple search locations between 2024 and 2025. We enlisted the help of a forensic archaeologist to see what SAPD had been looking for in 2024 in the woods behind the apartments. No physical evidence was recovered to confirm Tamés's claims. Tamés is sitting behind bars right now, but not in connection to Lina's disappearance. In October, a judge sentenced Tamés to 75 years in prison after convictions for drug possession and unauthorized use of a vehicle, with the sentence enhanced as a habitual offender. Prosecutors also reference a pending sexual assault case involving a 5-year-old child.
He asks that question every time he sat with law enforcement. What would you do if this was your daughter? And you can see that it has an effect on the whole room, because he says it very stoically, and he says it to impact them, and it does. It impacts all of us.
Since Lina disappeared, her parents have welcomed another daughter. Pamela Allen says that when police congratulated Lina's father, Riaz, on the birth, his response reflected the grief that never left.
And when they told him, congratulations on the birth of your child, of your daughter, he said, I wished I could celebrate as I did when my first daughter was born. There's that bittersweet moment where, yes, he wants to celebrate the birth of his daughter, but the sorrow in his heart, and as he explained it during that meeting, it was just so hard to hear, because the heartbreak is still so very evident.
We are told tips continue to come in.
Anybody who knows anything, to please call the SAPD tip line. We still have wonderful people who reach out and say, we think about her, we pray for her, and we pray that one day she'll be reunited with her family.
Yami Virgen, Fox SA.
Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, I do believe that Lina was wearing some jewelry, I think earrings, that night. I have some thoughts. First, I wish Tim Miller, if he wasn't, because I don't know if Texas EquiSearch was involved, I wish they were. And I'm wondering if anyone's reached out to them, and if not, I wonder if we could do that. Another thing, I do have my metal detector now. And I also have my magnet fishing stuff. So I think in the coming weeks, since that is a public lot, I might just go out there myself. Because I, for one, think Temez has everything to do with it. Who would openly state that? And also, the search groups that were used for Lina, they did look like they were working hard, but there wasn't as many of them historically as there has been for other kids who have gone missing. I mean, going back even 30 years to Heidi, you know, there was a bigger search. So I do think that could be a thing. I mean, I know exactly where they are in that search area. I didn't see them using any metal detectors. Maybe go out and see if maybe we can, if there's earrings, you know. But I believe it. And the fact that the FBI shared that information with her parents. Damn. And also, shout out to Dylan for the radar detector and the magnet fishing. That was my Halloween present. I mean, my Christmas present. Oh, I'll bring self-defensive weapons when I'm out there. I'll bring Hugin. He'll fucking bite people. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, especially that area, San Antonio, not at all. But, you know, I'm not a little girl living across from an offender. So and again, the parents couldn't have known that at the time. I don't believe those cards came out until after she went missing. And they're supposed to do it when the person moves in. But I believe he had to report his address. And because he was on the run, people didn't know. And somebody reported him. And I believe it could have even been, I'm not entirely sure. That's what I've been trying to figure out. I do wonder, because the age of the daughter of one of the girlfriends, I wonder if it's a girlfriend who reported it. And that's how they knew where he lived. Oh, yeah, and Dylan also got the new mic, so thank you to Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Now it's time to talk about Epstein stuff, okay? So we are moving into the final part, okay? And I'm going to... Oops. Well, that was dumb. I accidentally closed out one of the windows I needed. Let's just open that back up. All right, so I'm sure you guys have seen, I know we played one of them, but I'm sure you guys have seen the videos. Oh, the videos, sorry, it played really loudly in my ear, of that people have been putting out. We've definitely talked about it. I played one of them where you can copy paste parts of the Epstein files into Microsoft Word, and the redactions show up, and you can see the redactions because the DOJ is incompetent. We spent millions of dollars on someone to take a shortcut that really made the redactions completely fucking useless. And unfortunately, normally it would be like, yay, that's cool. We can read the redacted parts. But two things. Number one, that includes shit with victims, which is annoying and not cool, even though it also includes, you know, people's names that were formerly supposed to be redacted. Not a lot, though, and that's what pisses me off. A lot of the redactions that they made, I don't understand. In fact, a lot of them were taxes, financial shit having to do with Jeffrey. Like, it'll say how much he made, but then when it comes to how much he paid in taxes, which actually seemed exorbitantly high, they highlight it black to redact it, which also, when you highlight something, that does not get rid of the characters. Even if you highlight it black, you literally have to redact it and then replace it with something. And I understand there's a lot of files, but these aren't even all of them. So what are you going to do with the whole fucking, the big kebab? I guess we're not going to get to see it, which sucks. But it's really weird what they redacted. Not a lot of it seems, I guess, nefarious, if you will. And so now the goal is try to figure out why they did that for some of them. For others, it's obvious. They tried to redact Trump, but the context clues tell you exactly who they're talking about. But what's even more insane, because I tried to do the same thing in Google Docs, and because of the way, I guess because of the way it's coded, the word processor, how they created the word processor with it, the formatting just isn't there. So for a lot of the documents that you could copy paste into Microsoft Word, some of them, if you try to copy paste them into, any other program or Notepad or any other word processor or Google Docs, it's just going to show up as nothing, and you're not going to get to see the redacted stuff. Now, here's what blew my mind. I tried this with a lot of different paragraphs of redactions because some of them don't even work in Word. But I was reading something a while back about Twitter, aka X, and when Elon Musk took it over and how he's really into shortcuts, right? So streamlining, if you will, to the robots. So he fired a bunch of my friends who worked at Twitter, right? And a whole bunch of them worked in the department of Twitter where when someone's fucking mean to you or being a racist or an asshole or doxing you, a real person reviews it and then decides whether or not the account gets restricted. So Elon fired like all those people. So that's why Twitter got even worse, because now it's all streamlined through an AI. You're not going to get help from a human. You're just not. So it kind of shows the problem, right, with letting AI run things, because if someone truly is threatening you or doxing you and you seek out help and the AI doesn't comprehend it as what it very much is, then you end up getting fucked over and you're still doxed. You're still death threatened, whatever, So that's a problem. But another thing that he did was he cut back on a lot of features. And I don't know if he implemented this or if this was like something that maybe happened a little before, but it seems like when you copy paste into Twitter, whatever it is going on with the way words are processed in Microsoft Word or the format being used seems to be how it's processed through Twitter. And when I noticed this, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of a good thing, because what do people do when they find something crazy in the Epstein files, right? They immediately want to put it out there. Now, a lot of people are being dramatic, putting it on TikTok and then screaming, oh, this must mean this. How they do. But some people, it's all about preservation, right? Now that the DOJ knows, because Liam Neeson, of all people, fucking tweeted about it. Now that they know that they fucked up and all their redactions don't matter anymore because of the format and the way they chose to redact, which was highlighting shit black. Like, even the PDF files work. So, like, once they see that, they're going to want to fix it. And they already have on some of them. They have just gone in and typed in redacted. So when you copy paste it, you just get redacted. But once everybody realized, oh shit, now the DOJ knows that they fucked up, people started mass checking, like basically going through and trying to copy all of it that they could before they could change it, so that they would have a way to see the redactions. And I was going through and I thought, if you're doing that, you're tweeting it out anyway. What if you just highlight it and then copy paste it into Twitter and then just share it that way? And now you have it preserved, right? And the cool part is you don't even have to run it through Microsoft Word at all, because for some reason it works on Twitter. Something about the processing of the word, I don't know. So I made a little video about this for anybody who perhaps wants to try it. Or perhaps you don't have your Microsoft Word registration key because you just let it stay at the trial. And then your trial period for using it is up, and then you don't have a product code. So now you're just sitting there like, well, I can view, but I can't edit. This sucks. So you don't have Word. Maybe you're an Android user and you don't fuck with Apple, and you're just like, God damn it. Well, try Twitter because for some reason it works there. Here you go. Okay, I'm going to let this turn down so I can just show you and talk over this. So what I'm doing here is I'm going through 204 to 206. It's hard to see. It's very blurry. But I'm highlighting this, including the redacted stuff, all the black stuff right here that they wanted to take out. And I'm hitting Control C. Okay, so I'm copying. So now that I've copied the redacted parts, I'm now opening up my Twitter status. I hit post. Okay, so I'm going to post a tweet. And now I'm going to hit paste. And see all the redacted stuff? It starts at 202. Defendants also actively obstructed law enforcement by denying investigators access to Little St. James. And then it goes on, and everything that was redacted, we can now view. And see how I won't pay for Twitter because fuck Elon? So what you could do theoretically is open this, copy paste it in here, take a screenshot, close it, and then post the screenshot. And then you have the redactions available. So I just thought that was something that was very interesting and possible and helps get the word spread out quicker if you were to be someone who was trying to share that share right there. Okay. So now that's a little lesson there. It's a little fun lesson you get. So now another thing. The DOJ dropped the Epstein library and said, good luck. So a man named Cedric Lasson built a platform that actually lets you find things in the Epstein files. Why? Because they mixed them all up. And remember how last time we were talking about how there is a really cool effort being put out there so that people can easily see the Epstein files in some sort of fucking order, because the Department of Justice decided to put in an effort themselves to make it complicated. Why would they do that? To protect the elite? Probably. So, thank you to this user, Cedric Lasson, who is in France and does not want to kill themselves. So if they end up dead, someone did it, for inventing the Epstein Public Archive. And if you'd like to view it yourself, it is at https://epsteinfta.com. And you can see the difference in how it is set up. In this one, you can view video files, image files, audio files, PDF documents. It tells you how many total pages, which is not nearly how many they have. So it would be nice if the DOJ would fucking show us the gabagool. And then the total overall files. You've got archive statistics. And what I like about this is they make it easy, because before it was damn near impossible to find the video files. And you can donate if you want to, but you don't have to. And it is fully non-restrictive. And it even has its own built-in AI. There's a browse feature, a search feature. It's magical. You can search through names, dates, locations, keywords, even numbers. Right here, you can see whether you want the hybrid, which is a recommended method, which includes the AI. You can use their semantic AI if you want to, or you could just see the full text. Through categories, they split it up just like the DOJ did, and they still managed to do a much better job. And file types, you can then search through here. So this is fabulous. This is amazing. Again, I've put the link in the chat if you'd like to utilize this tool. There are many like it, but this is the one. Okay? So there's that. And I'd like to thank Cedric Lauson on Twitter. And I will drop their Twitter handle, which is hilarious because they have redacted the end of it. And that is actually the Twitter handle. It's at Cedric with the underscores for the redactions. So that is very funny. Okay. And I enjoy that quite a bit. All right. Let me pull up. Give me just one second here. I am. Oh, yeah. And also, the fucking Dropkick Murphys are amazing. They've been playing footage of Trump at the Epstein party in 1992 behind their concert during a song called Loser. And it's pretty fucking funny. Okay. So, let me close this real quick. And now I'm going to bring up something that it's 8 minutes long. The actual information or the actual footage of the full deposition is long and it's full of a lot of I plead the fifths. Okay. But we can't really deep dive Epstein without the depositions. Now, some of these have been out for a long time, but kudos to G2V, which is a fantastic channel that you should subscribe to. And I will put a link in the description. Who went ahead and edited out a bunch of fluff so that we could see some of the important, pertinent parts of Epstein's depositions when he was alive. And we can see some that are very hard to find because it seemed that they were wiped off the internet all of a sudden. And just very hard to find. And some of them hadn't even been FOIA'd yet. So this person made a fantastic video with excerpts from Jeffrey Epstein's deposition footage. And there's also another user who made one that's a bit longer, but it's full of I plead the fifths. So I don't think we're going to watch that one. And the full deposition footage from all the different years, I would love to get. Again, very difficult to find it all, but I will try my best. But we also have a Trump deposition from the E. Jean Carroll rape trial in full that we will eventually watch as we dive more into some of the stuff involving him in the case. Now, one thing before we get started, I wanted to talk more about the Oklahoma girl who got murdered and all of that stuff. And they said it was a suicide and Trump threatened the limo driver. We talked about that the other day. And I told you how this is something that we should probably look into, but let's also at the same time, not at all saying don't believe all victims, but keep in mind a lot of the tips in these files. And I wish more people would say this because even though it does serve in our best interest, because we get to hose these elite individuals who get away with terrible shit, it is fun to roast them. If we're dealing in facts, like even if it benefits us because it makes them look bad, it doesn't mean that it's true, you know? And there are a lot of tips included in these files, including tips that are just fake. They are like lies. By fake, I mean lies, like people called in and lied. There are tips that came in right before the election that when I would look into them, it's like, oh, well, this is impossible because he was here. Like, do you remember the woman who said Biden molested her when she worked for him? Well, she lives in fucking Russia. She's basically Carol from Tiger King. And she made blog posts about trying to ruin him and how much she fucking loves Trump. And then it turns out she was actually getting married in another state on the night she claims he did this. So it was absolutely all just made up. But for months, it was all over the news. So just like the Bubba thing could be a fucking joke and maybe Trump didn't suck Bill Clinton's dick, it's funny to say, but let's be real here. That could also just be his brother making jokes. And I believe his brother did go on the record. It was the person who wrote the email, right? And said, Bubba is not Bill Clinton. So as funny as it was for a few days to believe that, it's just not true. According to the person who wrote it. So when we look at these tips saying, you know, Trump killed my niece or my stepdaughter and stuff like that, we can't just believe it right away. You know, you got to look into it, especially because it's a tip. It could be anybody. So, of course, start looking into the limo driver. He has his own YouTube channel. He makes a lot of videos and posts over the years about this subject, ranging from believable to, oh, okay. Well, yikes. This kind of does wonders for your credibility in a sarcastic way. So it's a rabbit hole that's kind of difficult to go down. And then I guess the substance of what's being said by some people and accusations made towards others that are seemingly impossible can sometimes change the weight of how seriously we take things. Oh, good. Everything. Well, now I do think the federal government is behind all of it and trying to silence us because StreamYard did the thing where everything just went white. So I'm probably frozen. Let it go. Come on, StreamYard. I might have to click out and click back in. Everything is gone white. Is this heaven? What's going on? Why is it that when I'm trying to talk about how government officials fuck around with pedophiles, all of a sudden everything goes white? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to restart it, you guys. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. And that's Gunter choking out John Cena behind me, to whoever asked that right before everything went white. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. Also, oh, there's a moth. Also, eventually, I would like to read to you. Here's one good thing about the Epstein files that have been released is that there are people out there who have for years posted some wild shit. Specifically on 4chan, people have posted, like, I used to work at Epstein Island. It wasn't like an ask me anything. It was like, I'm about to off myself, is what they said. And they're like, before I do, I wanted to dump this here. And then they dump all this info. And then as this information comes out years later, we're seeing it. And it's like, does it line up with what that person said? So I would like to do that one day and show you that, because that was a big deal. Like, a lot of people were like, I kind of believe this guy. And then other people are like, bullshit. And I'm just like, it does seem like some things that they said do line up and other things do not. So it'd be interesting to go through that and finally debunk it or bunk it, whatever, what have you. Oh, yes, way. So we will definitely be looking into that in the future. If we have time, maybe tonight, but it's so much to read though. Maybe we could do it tomorrow, because it would be a story time type of thing. I would have to pre-record reading it because it's so long and they put so much stuff. But it is also wild because coordinates are given at one point. It's weird. But the person does name names, and then people find. Another thing is, I do need to redact because people find the people that are mentioned that used to work there. And now we can see if those people are in the files. And if they are, then this person could be telling the truth. Loy Marie, hello. Thank you for being here. I miss you, bitch. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to watch this deposition of Jeffrey Epstein over the years, multiple depositions edited in to one fantastic video by G2V. And I have noticed that there are people who, especially when they're discussing the Epstein files on like Reddit and Data Lounge, all these public forums on Facebook, on Twitter, there's always someone who's like, hey, did you see this part of the deposition? They're like, what? Where can I see that? So it's like, some people are reading them without even knowing. They didn't even know he ever sat down for these. And he sat down for these in the Florida case, and I believe after, definitely after, and leading up to the indictments and then him going to prison. So here we go.
Testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please state your full name?
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Do you maintain any other residences presently?
I have vacation homes in New Mexico, Palm Beach, New York, and Paris.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts: one, soliciting prostitution, and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Procuring a minor for prostitution is a wild statement of a charge. Procuring. Like, you molested a child is what they should force them to say under deposition. Just my opinion.
Did you in fact commit those acts?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution?
Same answer.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution in the state of Florida?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution in the Virgin Islands?
Same answer.
That is, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment.
Yes,
right?
Yes, Mr. Scroll.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New York?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited?
He shouldn't be allowed to invoke the Fifth, considering he was found guilty. A. And B, why are you fucking smiling?
Solicited for prostitution in New Mexico?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in Paris?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
So that right there is one of the reasons that I wanted you to see this. And trust me, if we sat for the whole thing, it's like many, many, many hours of I plead the Fifth, I plead the Fifth. It's basically Donald Trump. Did you hear what they said about Paris?
Virgin Islands.
The Virgin
Same
Islands.
answer.
So they said New York, the Virgin Islands, Florida, and now Paris? Paris?
That is, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment.
Yes, right. Yes, Mr. Squirrel.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New York?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New Mexico?
Same answer.
Have you?
New Mexico, site of his ranch. Paris is interesting because Jean-Luc, remember Jean-Luc? Jean-Luc also charged with and found guilty of trafficking minors, pedophilia, all these things. Jean-Luc happens to be besties with the head of Melania's organization, and I believe also worked for it at one point or another. Jean-Luc, who suicided himself as well, allegedly. Jean-Luc, who, that's right, model agency in Paris. He was the go-to guy. Parisians fucking loved him. He was the weird guy on the yacht who looks like the pastor here that has the freaky plain eyes. Remember when he's like, "Don't touch me." He's yelling at that reporter.
Ever solicited for prostitution in Paris?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
Also, in the full depositions, he gets so mad. So your body language analysis is spot on. And I agree completely with you, Age of Nefarious. His body language is, yes, he gets aggressive. And at a certain time, he tries to walk out multiple times. It's fucking crazy.
Let's take another break. We're going to go through everything. So you are terminating the deposition at this time? The recess of the deposition.
There you go.
What college did you attend? Cooper.
So when he'd terminate the deposition, it was when he'd get fussy. And then he'd have to come back and do another one. Because if you're not going to sit for it, then we're going to have to subpoena you.
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
Let's take another break. We're going to go through everything. So you are terminating the deposition at this time? The recess of the deposition.
What college did you attend? Cooper Union. And did you get a degree from Cooper Union? No, sir. How many years were you in college?
This is important because he loves schmoozing with the heads and the deans of apartments. Oddly, people who are around a lot of college girls and younger. He had Ghislaine out scouting the high schools, you see. But what's interesting is he loved to wear a Harvard sweatshirt everywhere. He loved to pretend he went to Harvard. Isn't that fun?
I believe two.
And I think that this is important. I'm going to go back again. I think that this is important because let's be real. You don't actually need a college degree to be a badass or to be smart or to do an incredible job. There are people who, work in the fucking CIA who didn't graduate college. There's people who fucking work in business and finance who didn't graduate. That's not the issue. The issue here is that he puts on this facade that has to do with finance for very rich people, for billionaires. And he gives credentials. But also that his buddy Les Wexner and these people who hand him a lot of shit. Under what presumption do they have that he's capable of handling all of that? And then to go on and exactly, you said it, and then to go on to become a teacher of math at a great school. How did he pull that off? This man is a con artist. And I think that that's what the FBI was initially trying to get at as kind of a background into Epstein for their own case. Oh yeah, and he had so many shell companies and he convinced people to sign shit over. In fact, what was it, 4 days before he killed himself? He transferred everything into this trust, which was given over to two people who were considered co-conspirators, but they were really co-owners of all of his business that would then be taken to give to the victims for restitution. And then all of a sudden, he goes from billionaire to multimillionaire. It's kind of a big leap.
And did you get a degree from Cooper Union?
No, sir.
How many years were you in college?
I believe 2.
What'd you study?
Physics.
Well, isn't it true that you were a teacher at the Dalton School in New York after unheard of? It's just an unbelievable scheme to have kept going for that long of a period of time. Do you consider yourself to be bisexual?
No.
Okay. In any event, you
remember the pictures he was taking of the guy's crotch on the bar?
did develop a sexual relationship with Leslie Wexner at some point in time. Is that true?
No.
So one of the rumors was that the reason Wexner gave him all of his money, which I agree with Laura, he stole it. But I also agree that Wexner was a fucking pervert, which is what a lot of other people think. So a lot of people yeah, exactly. He does have a lot of dick pics. And yep, Bill Barr's, and what did Bill Barr get to do? He got to become the Attorney General. And remember Acosta, the guy who gave the sweetheart deal to Jeffrey? Even he got a piece from Trump. Now, what's interesting about this Wexner thing is that a lot of people have this opinion that Wexner Epstein was very Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon, if you feel me. And that one of the reasons Jeffrey was quote unquote given everything was due to potential extortion and blackmail. As in, remember when you suck my dick? That type of shit. Some Bubba shit.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Objection, harassing, argumentative. Are you kidding?
Oh, I mean, I don't feel like I'm divulging any secrets here, right?
Move to strike.
Mr. Epstein, were you sexually abused as a minor?
Again?
Were you sexually abused as a minor?
You know, I'd like to respond to all your, if any, questions seem to be relevant, but I would like to respond to any relevant question at this time. However, my attorneys have counseled me that I cannot provide answers to the questions relevant to this lawsuit today. I must accept their advice or risk losing my Sixth Amendment right to effective representation. Accordingly, then, I assert my Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment right to the United States Constitution.
Listen, I don't want to get too far into the body language analysis angle here, but yeah, so the answer is yes, right? So it's a bit, I don't think subtitles are available. Let me see if I could, I don't know if I could turn it up more. I'll try. It is a plastic watch. His watch collection is shit. We went over it yesterday. It's kind of weird too. Like he's supposedly a billionaire and he has a lot of like, you know, if he had a Steve Madden watch, it wouldn't surprise me, or like just a fossil watch. Like I mean, for being a billionaire, the shit he spends money on is weird. Like he'd rather have like a titty bust than a nice watch. You know what I mean?
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis? I had hired psychologists to do a psychological profile on Jeffrey Epstein, what type of person he was. And
we will go back to this. I'm going to let it play for a minute, but this is very relevant to the files because you will see multiple mentions of him having a weird shaped penis, a micro penis, an egg shaped penis from the women who claimed that he trafficked them, that he assaulted them. And these are newer documents and older than 2009. So in this 2009 post-Florida deposition, there, oh my God, you are in full Rust Cole mode right now. I need to process this. Holy shit.
Hired psychologist to do a psychological profile on Jeffrey Epstein, what type of person he was, and what would actually get under his skin. What made him tick was that he was a narcissist. He had no ability to feel empathy and saw himself as the master of puppets, so to speak.
Sir, one witness described your penis as oval-shaped and claimed when erect, it was thick towards the bottom.
This is so sad because I love eggs and I'm really worried this is going to ruin eggs for me. Let's make it about me real quick. Fuck.
But was thin and small towards the head portion and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize. But as Mr. Critton has stated, that this is a... I'm willing to continue. I hate to call him back.
It is kind of funny though that they're like, is your penis shaped like Humpty Dumpty, Mr. Epstein? And he's like, okay, I'm getting the fuck out of here. They're talking about my egg dick again. They're talking about my egg dick again. Gerald, we need to go. They keep bringing up my fucking egg dick. They called it Humpty Dumpty.
He tries at all times to be the master of his domain and in control of his world.
And just like Ted Bundy, they're like, get the fuck back in here. You're not going anywhere, old man.
As soon as he feels he's out of control, it's unsafe.
I'm losing control over here. They're talking about my egg dick. They're telling everyone that I got a fucking egg dick. Charlene, get Ghislaine on the phone. They're talking about my cascaroni again.
Settling down.
Complaint filed by Virginia Roberts against you. Isn't it true, sir, that a friend of
Mr. Epstein, stand up for a second. Pull it out. Let me see that egg. Mr. Epstein, can we see your dick? Like, why didn't they just say, just show me your dick? How about you just show me your dick and then we'll put this to bed? And then the second he does, they're like, busted, did it again.
of yours sent you 3 12-year-old.
Yeah, isn't it fascinating how all these motherfuckers, Weinstein, Epstein, P. Diddy, all these fucking pervs got weird little janky weenies. Ugh.
Females for you to sexually abuse on one of your birthdays.
Form argumentative, harassing, and irrelevant to this lawsuit.
But you're saying it's part of the lawsuit?
He's into it. He's like, no, go back. What was you asking me again about my birthday? You remember my birthday? Let's go back.
Complaint filed by Virginia Roberts against you. Isn't it true, sir, that a friend of yours sent you 3 12-year-old females for you to sexually abuse on one of your birthdays?
Guess who that friend was? So it was 3 dudes. One of them they said, hey, let's celebrate our birthdays together. They sent 3 12-year-olds. Okay. And each of them abused a 12-year-old. Guess who one of those friends was? And they tried to redact part of it in the Epstein files, but when you copy paste it, you could see it. Do you know who one of those friends was? Take a guess. Mr. President?
Form argumentative, harassing, and irrelevant to this lawsuit.
But you're saying it's part of the lawsuit?
Yeah, I'll read it directly.
It was Jeffrey's birthday when...
And now do you remember in the emails? And keep in mind, this is, 15 years ago? So new information has come to light. Okay? And that's part of what's in the files. And what's interesting is emails came out after this deposition between him and others. And one of them is with Ghislaine Maxwell, where he's explaining essentially that the squeaky wheel is Trump. And it's right after this deposition. Very interesting.
On one of defendant Epstein's birthdays, a friend of defendant Epstein sent him 3 12-year-old girls.
And by the way, they were saying they don't all have the same birthday. But that was the comment made, was something about how like, hey, for our birthdays, let's do this. And then we each pick one.
From France, who spoke no English, for defendant to sexually exploit and abuse. After doing so, they were sent back to France the next day. Isn't that true?
Once again, I'm going to move to strike. Irrelevant, argumentative, harassing.
I would like to answer.
There it is. Trump is the dog that hasn't barked. And why hasn't he barked? Because he didn't want shit like this to come out.
That question, I really would. However, today, my attorneys have told me I have to assert my Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, and 14th Amendment rights of the U.S. Constitution.
You're invoking your Fifth Amendment rights to each of these questions because you know that your answers will incriminate you and you feel that it will result in you being prosecuted for these crimes. Isn't that right?
Objection, argumentative, harassing, and call.
Well, that is the only reason to use the Fifth Amendment, is because it will incriminate you. And one of the reasons that it even exists at all is because, well, I think it's fucking pointless, but in a way it works because it's a tell, right? It tells you that if this person answers this question, it will incriminate them. They will be the baddie, so they can't answer it. I will be incriminated. It will make me look bad. I will have to admit I did something I did not want to admit. What can one insinuate from that? Well, if the answer is bad, that means it must be the bad answer. The no bad dog answer, which is, yeah, you did that.
For a legal conclusion.
No, in fact, the Supreme Court recently said that the Fifth Amendment right is there to protect the innocent. So that's the way I'd like to answer that.
Are you released from jail at some time? Do you have to report back to jail on a daily basis?
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes, sir.
And is it 7 days a week that you're out?
It's the right against self-incrimination, which I don't really like. The whole like thing where it's double negatives or triple negatives. And it is true. Exactly. Anything you say can be used against you. That is true. And it does. I hate to say he's right about something, but he is right that it is used to protect the innocent.
Are you released from jail at some time? Do you have to report back to jail on a daily basis?
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes.
And is it 7 days a week that you're out on work release?
No, sir.
How many days a week are you out on work release?
6.
And of those 6 days, how many hours per day are you out on work release?
12.
So he literally never had to go to jail. Remember when I said Albert Acosta gave him, is it Alfred or Albert? I can't remember. Acosta gave him this sweetheart deal. You're on work release. How many days? For how long each day? So wait, so you only report to the jail, what, once a week at night?
On a daily basis?
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes, sir.
And is it 7 days a week that you're out on work release?
No, sir.
How many days a week are you out on work release?
6.
And of those 6 days, how many hours per day are you out on work release?
12.
We're back on the video record at 12:02 p.m.
Let's talk about Jane Doe 102, Virginia Roberts. Do you know Virginia Roberts?
So she's, again, who?
Virginia Roberts.
Can you spell it?
Common spelling. Virginia, like the state.
Can you spell it for me, please?
Roberts.
What's the last name? How's it spelled?
Roberts, I believe. Isn't it true that you and Ghislaine Maxwell celebrated her 16th birthday with her and had sex with her on that day?
Form, compound, confusing, argumentative, harassing.
That is not confusing at all.
I'd like to answer that question. But today, I'm going to have to assert my Sixth Amendment rights, my Fifth Amendment rights.
Is it true that you forced Virginia Roberts to have sex with numerous friends of yours?
Are you kidding?
Until now, Marina Lacerda was
Okay, so there are a couple of people who are speaking out who were not perhaps previously known to be Epstein victims, and some who were, but they were recognized as Jane Does. And I just wanted to show some of their stories. And I thought that this was interesting, and I hadn't seen anything with her before. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play through.
was known publicly only as minor victim number 1 in 2019 court documents. But now she's speaking out for the first time about her experience at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Her cooperation with the FBI was key to putting the sex offender behind bars. She says she was just 14 years old and living in a broken home in New York City when a friend brought her to meet Epstein to give him a massage.
I think with Jeffrey Epstein, it starts somewhere, but then it ends with either you having sex with him, whether you like it or not.
She became a part of a network of young girls in Astoria, Queens, recruited to be with Epstein, similar to what prosecutors say he did in Palm Beach, Florida.
When he has somebody new in his life, he likes to see them a lot. So I went there a whole bunch of times, and, you know, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically.
Lacerda said she was paid thousands of dollars and that as a young immigrant from Brazil, she says she believed being associated with a financier could lead to better opportunities.
It never happened, obviously, you know, because it came to a point when I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17. He didn't want me anymore. He was just like, you're too old.
Epstein was arrested in 2019 and charged with conspiracy and child sex trafficking, but died by suicide a month later while in custody awaiting trial. In 2008, during the FBI's first investigation of Epstein, agents arrived at her door.
I was living with, you know, roommates that were like around my age, 17, 18 at the time. And I was like, well, I have to call Jeffrey. What am I going to do?
Lacerda says that she called Epstein, who hired an attorney for her, and she never heard anything further about the case. It was in 2019 that the FBI spoke to Lacerda again, and this time her statements to the FBI helped them build a case against Epstein.
Do you feel some relief, some pride that there was this direct line in ultimately him getting arrested?
I would have felt much better today speaking if I was able to speak in 2008. If they would have gave me the chance to speak, these women would not have been through this.
As the political debate over the...
I feel so bad for these women too, because they all seem to echo that sentiment. And it's just so fucking sad, because especially because of how it turned out, you know, and now Ghislaine is partying in Texas, running the track, starting a flower garden. Fuck. I'd be pissed. I did promise Hugin access. Let me grab him. I need to put a sweater on him, to be honest, because it is getting very cold very quick. We have a cold front moving in right now, and it just dropped like 20 degrees. And Hugin is very cold. Let me go put a sweater on him, and then I will give you immediate Hugin access, okay? Damn, you got... Ooh. It sounds like, are you in the files? You sound very like you promised me access to the Hugin. He is my child. I will exploit him when I want. And I do want to now. So let me go put his sweater on. I'll be right back.
the release of more files related to Epstein rages on Capitol Hill, Lacerda is hoping transparency can help her remember the details she's forgotten and finally begin to recover from the trauma.
What would you like Congress to do?
I would like for them to give all the victims transparency to what happened and release these files. It's also not only for the victims, but for the American people.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Why now? Why are you deciding to speak and to share your story now?
Because not everybody is getting justice, and that's not right. Just because you think that some victims in their mind got justice, that it's not right. The everyday person is out there, and that's me, and we're victims. You could be, your neighbor could be a victim, and you don't know it. The person you pass in a grocery store, and they're not talking. And I think that, like she said, power in numbers, even if I'm just counted as statistically in numbers as another victim, that's enough for me. They're not protecting our youth. They're continuing to allow the same thing that happened to us is happening still. Maybe not with, them, but it happens, and it's happening. So I took my time in saying something, and I've always been in contact with Jenna. I had a young daughter trying to start my career. It was a big shock to my husband. So I took the time, and I said when I felt like I was ready, it's not a secret about.
Yeah.
So now I'm ready to say, you know what? If I am the everyday Joe Schmo and I have this story, I know I want to be able to inspire other people to say, hey, me too. I mean, I hate this. I don't want to say the me too, not trying to do that, but it happened to me too.
Maria was in her early 20s when she was hired and abused by Jeffrey Epstein in the mid-1990s. During that time, she witnessed firsthand how close her boss was to Donald Trump.
Epstein said, when Trump
Okay, speak to them. You want to show them your new bow tie? You want to show them your new bow tie? Who can say hello? Say hello to everyone. Tell them your thoughts on the Mossad. Tell them about Jelaine. Tell them about what you did on the island. What do they have against you, Hugin? Hugin, why are you in the files? You're in the file. You know that? You're in the Epstein files. You've done a lot of terrible things. Would you like to repent? Would you like to repent for what you did? Mama's giving you booty pats. Mama's giving you booty pats. Do you want some chicken weenies? What's on your belly? You got a leaf on your belly? You got a leaf stuck to your belly. What did you do? Why are you in the Epstein files? Tell the people. Tell them what you did. Tell them what you did and why you did it. You're very egg-shaped. Don't you snort at me. Are you shaped like an egg? Do you wish to be praised? You're not saying a lot, even though you've done a lot of terrible things. Hey. Are you slowly leaning back? Okay. Are you looking at John Cena's? I know you're pleading the fifth. You're pleading the fifth again? Why do you keep pleading the fifth, honey? Let's show them your tie. Show them your... How do we do this? There. Show them your spring tie and your winter sweater. That's you, honey. That's what you look like. Yeah, that's you. You want Mama to scratch your ear? You want a little head massage? You do a head massage. Oh, yes. He's a very good boy. He's a very good egg. You want to go down? There you go. Oh, good boy. He's very fancy. He's very good. What is you doing? You going to sit on Mama's foot? Okay. You're going to make Hugin a tube top? He would absolutely love that. Oh my God, a backup pet? If the FBI comes for him, they have to get through me. I'm his Jelaine. Right, Mookie's. He's done horrible things. He pleads the fifth. I barely know him, but to give him to me, don't hurt him. He is very well dressed. Today he is, yes, can I offer you an egg in these trying times? And then I hand you a Hugin? Can you imagine? Yes, Hugin has a lot of weird art hanging on his walls too. Are you a part of the Israeli Defense Forces, Hugin? You can tell me if you are. I'll protect you. Yeah, what he did to the bunnies, that was some massage shit. He doesn't even know he's in the files yet. He just found out live. So he's processing. He's processing by chewing on my crock. It's okay, buddy. We'll get you a good lawyer. We'll get you the best lawyer. I already found one for you, Hugin. He's great. He sent us a video, Hugin. Do you want to see him? He says he'll represent you.
Your Honor, defer. Miss Janice.
Judge Athens.
Your Honor, this is so unfair. Your Honor, I think I want to appeal. Your Honor. Your Honor, stop. This is propaganda. Your Honor, this is fake. Don't believe what they say.
Don't believe what they say. All right. We're going to go ahead and watch this last video. Okay. And then we're going to wrap it up, but I'm going to show you some stuff in the files.
When she was hired and abused by Jeffrey Epstein in the mid-1990s. During that time, she witnessed firsthand how close her boss was to Donald Trump.
Epstein said when Trump and his wife divorced, Ivana, he said, I inherited Trump and Yellen inherited Ivana. And so you'll see Ivana at the house a lot and you'll see Trump at the offices, but the twain will never cross. They'll never meet.
It was in Epstein's Manhattan office that Maria claims she had a disturbing encounter with the now president.
First time I met him was the night before I started my job. And Epstein said, I need you to come up to the offices. And I was like, it's 9 o'clock at night, you know? And I guess I'll just run up there. And he said, okay. So I get there and I'm all sweaty in running shorts. Donald Trump walks in and he was really strange. And he stood, hovering and smirking, like all knowing, like omniscient grin, like a Cheshire grin. So I made I don't know, it was just an instinct. I made the ugliest face I could think of. And Epstein thought it was adorable. He walked out and he goes, "Oh, no, Maria, no, she's not here for you." Just like that. He emphasized, she's not here for you. He goes, "Come with me." And he escorts Trump. So here's Epstein's part. He escorts Trump into this other room. And Trump utters under his breath, he mutters, "Oh, I thought she was 16. And I thought that was just really weird. Like it was beyond locker room talk.
Maria says she never saw Trump behave inappropriately, and the White House has
And this is a story that we've actually seen referenced in the Epstein docs and repeatedly in the last 15 years. And they even reported on it, I believe, in the Florida paper around the first time Jeffrey got indicted. So this is wild.
Contested her version of events, insisting the president never visited Epstein's offices. So when the White House says Donald Trump was never at Jeffrey Epstein's offices, is the president lying?
Oh, my heavens, yes.
And also we know that he's lying because he was, and it's in the Epstein files. He was repeatedly, and on the Rolodex in his office, as well as Jeffrey Epstein's, there were over 15 contacts for each other that were taken in the first search, the first time that Epstein got charged in Florida back in the early 2000s. Like 15 ways to get a hold of each other. That was more than he had for Bill Clinton or anybody else.
Yes, he's lying. Yes.
Also, there's pictures. So there's that. Okay. Let's remove this because we're wrapping it up. Hugin fell asleep on my foot. He's a very heavy boy. Okay. So I just have one more thing to show you tonight. Again, this is going to be so many episodes we're going to have to dedicate to this because there's just a lot. But I want to show you something from one of the pictures that is kind of crazy. And remember how we were talking about a lot of people were saying like he's a spy, he's the Mossad, he's working for, the IDF, like all this different shit. Like he's a fucking spy for other foreign nations. He's working for the Saudis. Like there's so many theories out there. But it is interesting some of the books he has. In particular, I'm going to show you my Epstein notes, my Epstein files. And for the sake of not like, I don't know why I won't just go on to say it's not that big of a picture. Okay. Epstein's bookshelf, he has the whole spy catalog right there. And this is just a very interesting choice because it's a really old book and it's all about how to get away with CIA and spy shit, including espionage, how to gather intel and how to use it against someone for the sake of gathering data and information. And it's just a strange choice to have on his bookshelf in his personal office. So I thought that was very interesting. And that was in one of the pictures that we looked at. And if you zoom in on the books, you can see some of the other choices. Now, next, I'm going to show you one example of some of the stuff that was redacted. So in one of the files, we see, and I believe this might have been in one of the files along with Ghislaine's cross-examination or her deposition when they, when they interviewed Ghislaine, those transcripts. So defendants also, and by the way, in those transcripts, if she makes an accusation or if they say, for example, Ghislaine, did you ever poach a massage therapist from Trump's properties? And she's like, well, I did meet so-and-so at Mar-a-Lago, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever see Trump do this? Well, no, I didn't. Like shit like that. Then accompanying those statements, you will then see proof that what she is saying is either truth or a lie. And that's part of the confusing parts of the Epstein files, is how they put the paperwork together, because you would have to open a whole new file to see the backup evidence and citations. So right now, the goal is get as much of it copied before they re-redact it, especially the important parts. And I thought this was very interesting and very important. What did they redact here? Remember, I told you a lot of the things that they redacted were like financial amounts and shit like that. But this was one that wasn't. This was actually very incriminating. And this also accompanies a lot of information about his relationship with Trump. Defendants, so right here, 202, you can read it. Defendants also actively obstructed law enforcement by denying investigators access to Little St. James beyond its boat dock. In this instance, they are specifically talking about the defendants of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. 203, 204, 205 are redacted. So let's see what they say now that you can copy fucking paste them, because the DOJ paid someone to do a piss poor job. Defendants also attempted to conceal their criminal sex trafficking and abuse conduct by paying large sums of money to participant witnesses, including by paying for their attorney's fees and case costs in litigation related to this conduct. Epstein also threatened harm to victims and helped release damaging stories about them to damage their credibility when they tried to go public with their stories of being trafficked and sexually abused. Epstein also instructed one or more Epstein Enterprise participant witnesses to destroy evidence relevant to ongoing court proceedings involving defendants' criminal sex trafficking and abuse conduct. So, most people would look at this and go, no wonder they redacted it. Epstein did some lascivious shit. Because they forget that Epstein is not the victim here. Nor is he a politician. Nor is he a prominent figure. So my question is, why would the DOJ redact this from the Epstein files? It doesn't name the victims. It's not a picture of the victims. It is backed up with evidence. And it is, most importantly, it's about the suspect. It's about Epstein. It doesn't say Trump. It doesn't say Clinton. Remember, they said that the only reason they would redact someone is if it's like an innocent or somebody that perhaps was merely there and they don't need their name soiled through the mud. They're going to treat them like victims, which is still wrong. But also, they said any prominent figures or politicians, shit like people like Elon and shit, who, by the way, is in the files, who, by the way, did hang out with Epstein and fucking Ghislaine. And yeah, he did hang out. There are pictures of them. People like Walter Cronkite. Like, those are the people that they said the DOJ has to redact these names to protect them. So why did they redact Epstein's name? Why did they redact shit about him? I think the key word is the first word in 203, defendants. Because everything above this that is also redacted includes names of those individuals, includes not just Ghislaine, anybody who is accused in these documents. Specifically, where there is supporting evidence for a criminal indictment, or that supports a criminal indictment, or that backs up the testimony of witnesses. So why is Epstein and his conduct redacted? it's egregious enough that they're redacting things that accusations against these predators, involving these predators, but also redacting the supporting information. That's infuriating enough. But to hide what Epstein did, that they proved he's already dead. Why are they redacting this? It seems to me like the Department of Justice is trying to protect Epstein more than the victims. And it's disgusting. So I want to give you an example of that. Also, let me go ahead and pull this up for you. In case you were curious, Jeffrey Epstein did have a ton of fake passports that were inside of his little safe. One of them being the passport you're about to see. Let's check it out. With the name Fortelny, Marius Robert Fortelny, born July 30th, 1954. His profession is manager. And this is what's interesting. Residence in Saudi Arabia. So when it comes to the whole, who was he a spy for? I find it interesting how many Saudi Arabian fake passports he had. Remind me again who did 9/11? Really? Who did? What was that about Jamal Khashoggi? Like, this is fucking wild. Why would he of all people need fake passports? Like, why? And a Saudi Arabian one, nonetheless? Interesting. Very interesting. So there's that. So yeah, he has some fake passports. There's also, the whole thing with in case you guys didn't know, he references blackmailing his buddy Trump. And let me pull it up. In an email, and it's interesting because this is around time there were issues with this Lavrov guy publicly. So essentially, he was compromised by Russia, which we already knew. And if you didn't know, surprise, Fox forgot to tell you, Trump is very compromised by Russia. In fact, a shitload of oligarchs, including people who are extended hands of Putin himself, own a shitload of floors in Trump Tower and in multiple Trump Towers, as did Epstein. So that's interesting. Let's take a look at this email. It is too big, and I'm trying to not have it blown up so big, but there's not much I can do. It's a big file. Okay. So this says, this is Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And he's speaking to his Russian contact, who I believe is also lives in Sweden or some shit. Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversation. So he spoke directly with someone named Churkin. Now, who is Churkin? You're going to find out later. We're going to get really deep into some of the Russian stuff because it's crazy. But he's a guy that was working with a bunch of people that also compromised. Very Russian asset shit. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. So he spoke with this guy who is very, very compromised, very, very Russian guy, or homies with the Russians, to basically tell him everything he had on Trump. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Then he says, I'll meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest, thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come to Un high level week. So this guy is basically like, I'm going to go speak to Lavrov, who is a direct Russian intelligence asset, who worked with all these people back when they poisoned the excuse me, I'm choking on my own spit. Back when he poisoned one of the leaders in the Ukraine, or soon to be. Back when, yes, exactly, the golden shower tapes happened, which was when Miss Universe was held there. And some people think that Trump just went there for Miss Universe. No. He went there because an oligarch and a big fucking political guy, a big way up there in the parliament or whatever, in the oligarch of Russian hierarchy, which is, he's a billionaire oligarch. A right hand of the king to Putin, if you will. His shitty son wanted to be a hype beast. And so he Rebecca Blacked his own kid. Okay? He said, I'll give you whatever you want. The son's like, I want to be a pop star. He's like, okay. And he dressed the kid like Timothy Chalamet, gives him puffy coats. He pays someone to write a big rap for him. He's like, my kid's filming a music video. You want to come? Will you be in it, Trump? And for some reason, Trump drops everything to go appear in this music video for this fucking boy that is the son of Putin's bestie. And it happens to be on the night of the Miss Universe shit. So they send some toots with them, some prostitutes. They send some toots that way. And then he calls for the Miss Universe girls. And then he makes them all do stuff so he can piss on them. Hence the pee-pee tapes. And he had just finished filming that music video, and I think it's even out. So when Russian oligarchs are sending you to be a bitch boy in a music video to help when you're doing cameos in a music video to help out a dude's kid, all right, you're compromised. Like bad. Like really bad. And then in the process of being blackmailed into doing something because you're compromised, you compromise yourself further by fucking around with toots and pissing on a bed just because the Obama slept in it. That is insane. And it's true. And it drove Tom Arnold completely crazy. So I think you might suggest, and by the way, his ex, a woman named Roseanne, very close to Trump. So I believe him. I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight on talking to me. Vitaly Churkin used to, but he died. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's it. See how these people just all fucking die? So there's a lot going on in these emails. There's a lot going on. But yeah, we're going to dive more into this. We're going to have to do the Russian stuff is going to be crazy. Also, Trump is in the flight logs a lot. But I think one of the craziest things that we're going to have to, I think the next time, I wanted this to be the next time. We're going to talk about the Brad Renfro thing. I said Edward Furlong. I fucked up. I get them confused all the time. We're going to do next time, we're going to do the 4chan story and cross-reference and compare and see if there's any supporting evidence. And then I'm going to tell you about how Brad Renfro, a stolen yacht, entertainment lawyer from the blind items, Epstein, a bunch of girls who got trafficked, and his eventual overdose and suicide all might be connected. And it's not just a conspiracy because there's supporting evidence in the Epstein files and in the past to suggest that this could very much be so. And if you love the client with Brad Renfro, it's concerning. And also if you hate sex trafficking. But yeah, very interesting. And there's also stuff on the Wayback Machine that we had to go into for that one, that I had to go into for that one. So that's going to be an interesting episode. That's going to be really hard to lay out too, because there's a lot of layers. Oddly, a lot of witnesses. But again, nobody listens because I don't know. Like Hollywood's really good at protecting pedophiles, but so is so is like the media, so is everybody else. So that's kind of concerning. But here's what we're gonna do. I have to go, and I agree they could have had Mini Mall Guy, but they didn't. It's because he was busy, always be closing. You know what I mean? So I have to go because got to go pick up the old man. Got to take Hugin outside so that he can snort and look for the bunny. And I think we're going to end on this. Oh, yeah. First, I want to tell you everything in this video is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. And I don't want to kill myself. So if anything happens, and no one's watching. So also, if anybody tries to come for me in this video or sue me or anything, I got nothing, but I do have a good lawyer, and he's like this.
Your Honor, defer. Miss Janice.
Judge Athens.
Your Honor, this is so unfair. Your Honor, I think I want to appeal. Your Honor. Your Honor, stop. This is propaganda. Your Honor, this is fake. Don't believe what they say.
And if you want to fight with me or get a beef or have problems, it's going to go something like this.
Hold on. This is my favorite. Hold on. Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
I'm gonna stab him.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
It's my favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble,
I'm
dog.
not fighting with you.
Grow up,
I'm not
bro.
fighting with you.
Grow up.
Get educated.
You need to get educated, okay? And one thing that you need to all be educating yourselves on is your passwords, okay?
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason.
Ma'am, we're discussing the rezoning for the Portillos. Do you have any comments on that?
For what?
We're discussing the rezoning on 53rd for...
Well, I live on 63rd.
Again, we're here to hear comments about the rezoning.
Well, I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet because I can't find a job. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Does it? Get that password. Also, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate all of you. You're all special. You're all snowflakes. Protect your neck. And, just a quick disclaimer before we go, and I say good night. You should send this to someone that you love.
Send this to someone on the Epstein list. Hello, scoundrel. If you are panicking right now because you may have done some crimes, don't worry. Using airtight logic, I've designed a fashion that will absolve you of any sin. I am not on the Epstein list. And also there is no list. And also there is one, but it's fake. Please comment. Obama made me do it.